It's time for the high school football pregame show, brought to you by the Alliance of Construction Professionals. Build your future with us with a great career in union construction. Give them a call at 1-877-825-8714.
Well, it's taken a couple weeks, but fall football weather has finally arrived in Northwest Ohio. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Springfield High School. Tonight, the Blue Devils of Springfield host the Anthony Wayne Generals. I'm Bill Clark. It'll be my pleasure to call the play-by-play for tonight, along, as always, with Coach Tom Cole. And if you haven't made your annual trip to Cedar Point, you've come to the right place tonight, because our TV5 Game of the Week talks about the NLL, which has been like a roller coaster, Thomas, all year long.
Well, Billy, you're right. It's up, down, and all around, and we'll see where it ends up tonight.
When you talk about these two teams, you got Springfield at the one end of the schedule and one end of the standings at the bottom end, Anthony Wayne at the other end, but Anthony Wayne can't afford to stub their toe tonight.
No, they can't, Bill. They've got bigger things on their mind, but, the old cliche, one game at a time. Well, it is one game at a time tonight.
Coach Craig Smith of Anthony Wayne and Phil DeMars of Springfield spends some time with our Jennifer Snyder in just a couple of minutes when we continue on the ACP pregame show from Springfield, coming up next on TV5. Welcome back to Springfield High School as we continue on the ACP pregame show from Springfield. Tonight, the Springfield Blue Devils host the Anthony Wayne Generals, and just a couple of minutes ago, our Jen Snyder had a chance to sit down and chat about tonight's ballgame with Anthony Wayne's Craig Smith.
Thanks, Bill. I'm here with Craig Smith, head coach of the Anthony Wayne Generals. Now, Coach, next week you'll be facing Southview, who's also in a race for the title. Are you worried about your kids in anticipation of next week, looking past this week's game?
Not really at all. We've emphasized Springfield all week, and they beat us last year in a tough game, so I think our kids will be ready to play tonight.
Now, can you tell us a little bit about your starting lineups that we'll be seeing tonight?
Kind of junior and senior dominate. We have probably about 6-7 juniors that start both ways and 4 or 5 seniors. So it's a good group of kids. They work extremely hard, and we're happy with them.
Who are your leaders that you're expecting to stand out on the field tonight?
Probably Joe Sandholtz, who's a senior linebacker and tight end, and Brandon Kramer is a free safety and running back, are 2 captains of the team. And also Aaron Hartman is captain and lineman, and Dan Babcock also.
All right, Coach. Thanks a lot, and good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Back to you, Bill.
Thanks, Jennifer. We appreciate the effort. And when you talk about Anthony Wayne, you heard Coach Smith talk about him as well. Brandon Kramer, not only is he the key at halfback, he's also their leading receiver.
Well, Billy, he's a lot like the Paul Horning of Anthony Wayne. He does it all. Catches the ball, runs with the ball. He's their golden boy on offense.
On the defensive side of the football, Springfield is going to have to look at Joe Sandholtz to see if they can get through him.
Well, Billy, we've heard it all year long, and it hurts me to say this, but you win with defense, and he'll be expected to make some big plays.
On the other side of the coin, Jennifer Snyder's been very busy. Now she stands alone with Coach Phil DeMars of Springfield. Jennifer?
Thanks, Bill. I'm here with Phil DeMars, head coach of the Springfield Blue Devils. Now, Coach, your leading tacklers this season have been your defensive cornerbacks, and knowing the offense you're going to be up against tonight, what have you been doing to strengthen your defensive line?
Well, we've worked hard in practice and tried to get the kids to understand their roles up front, and we think we've made progress there, and tonight we're going to find out, because Anthony Wayne's an excellent football team up front, and we'll see how they come out. Our kids, we don't want the secondary making all the tackles, that's for sure.
Now, can you tell us a little bit about some of the leaders that we're expected to see tonight on the field?
Well, we have 2 kids that were honorable mention All-State last year, and that's Marquis Hayes, who plays running back and free safety for us, and Mike Weaver, who's a tight end and a defensive end. And those 2 are having really good years. Our inside linebacker, Ric Gonzales, has played well as of late. And offensively, I think the key to us is being able to run the ball. So we're hoping to do that tonight.
All right, Coach. Thanks. Good luck tonight.
Sure.
Back to you, Bill.
Thanks, Jennifer. We appreciate that. Well, when you talk about Springfield, there's one guy that everybody keeps their eye on when you play against them, and that's Marquis Hayes.
Well, Billy, Marquis has 2 speeds, fast and faster. When he goes to bed at night, when he turns the light out, he's in bed before it's dark. That's how fast he is.
On the defensive line, and also playing a little tight end as well, as Mike Weaver, and he's a big force as well.
Yeah, Mike goes both ways for him, and again, he's a defensive stopper, and again, you win with defense.
Here's a surprise. When we come back in just a couple of minutes, we're going to have Coach Tom Cole's tip. Believe it or not, he's going to talk about quarterbacks, and we'll find out what that tip is all about as we continue on the ACP pregame show from Springfield right after this timeout.
This has been the High School Football Pregame Show, brought to you by the Alliance of Construction Professionals. Build your future with us with a great career in union construction. Give them a call at 1-877-825-8714.
There we go. Welcome back to the pregame show, and it only took, 4 or 5 games before Tom Cole's tip's going to focus, what else, on the quarterback.
You're working me, Bill, but, Billy and I every week see kids throwing the ball, and, they do a great job, but there's a couple little things, I think, Billy, that we could help with to ameliorate their throwing stance, and here are a couple things that kids do, I think, incorrectly. First of all, Billy, they get their legs too far apart. Their legs, their straddle position is wider than their shoulders. That's not good. It's like lining up on a tee shot, and getting your legs too wide. There's a comfort zone there. Your base or your straddle position should be no more than your shoulder width. So they get their legs too wide, number one. Then what they do is, it's kind of like when kids used to grow up throwing rocks and baseballs. Well, they transfer that to a football throw. What they do is they take the football back like a baseball. They elongate it outside their body. A lot of bad things happen to you at that point in time. Once you take it back this far, number one, it gets outside your body, so when you stride forward to throw the football, where it's going to go is it's going down, okay? If you get it too far outside your body, the kid that loses the ball, it takes off on him and it waffles on him. So those are all bad things. What you need to do is get a good straddle position, no wider than your shoulders. You hold the ball, the old Johnny Unitas up by the ear. He's the greatest ever, but I don't know if it has to be up by the ear, but you need to have it sternum level here. And what you do is it's a passing arc, and it's a small circle. Everybody makes a small circle. It starts here, and it goes here. It's a very small circle, not along, the rock throwing, baseball throwing, but sternum level, small arc. And then the last thing, kind of a last tip that we'll give him, Billy, is if you can get used to it when you throw the football, when you take away, kind of like a baseball hitter does and baseball home run hitter, you take the ball away here, and what you do is you generate force and power by what I call a torso twist, and you bring the ball through this way. So you're bringing all your body, and I'm bringing a little bit more than the normal person here, but what happens is a lot of kids, they become steppers and throwers. They don't use any of their body, and that's why they have sore arms. So a couple things, Bill, and maybe we help a couple kids out.
All right, Jason Sadowski, Todd Leonard, we'll take and out get them tonight because they're going to be center stage tonight. They're the quarterbacks in tonight's game. It's Springfield and Anthony Wayne, and we're back with more from Springfield right after this on TV5.
First, we're going to talk about the terminology in the run game. And the first play is the dive. The dive is right over the center slot. What happens is the quarterback will take the man, do what we call a matador step, where he opens up and gets right over the center position. That's the dive. Next play.
Friday Night Football is brought to you by The Andersons, more for your home. Cellular Central, your Verizon Wireless Platinum agent. The Alliance of Construction Professionals, build your future with us. Banner Mattress and Furniture. Subway and your local Subway sandwich shops. Cricket Comfortable Wireless, another leap innovation. Quiznos Restaurants, great dining. TAS Electronics.
And it's a beautiful night for football in Springfield High School as the Blue Devils host Northern Lakes League opponent Anthony Wayne, as we welcome you to TV5's coverage of the Northern Lakes League ball game between the Generals and the Blue Devils. Tom Cole is here, Tom Fitzgerald, our statistician, in the booth. I'm Bill Clark, and as we take a look at the gentleman who will be calling things tonight, Craig Smith. Thomas, he comes into the ball game. This is his 6th year at Anthony Wayne, 35-23 overall, and right now his team is right in the thick of it.
Well, Billy, we've dealt with Craig a number of times. He's a real gentleman. He cares about the kids, understands the fundamentals of the game, and a terrific coach.
On the other side of the field, we'll see Coach Phil DeMars. He is in his 4th year here at Springfield, 16-21 overall, and he's got a team right now that has to really look at being in the role of the spoiler.
Well, Coach Phil, in the like manner, is a real gentleman, Bill, and this game is huge for him because this is a turnaround kind of game. If he could get this on the board and get a W, it's a turnaround kind of thing for your season.
Well, there's Jason Sadowski. He is the starting quarterback normally for the Anthony Wayne Generals, but he got himself a head injury last week in the Perrysburg ball game. And talking to Craig Smith before the ball game, they said that he was going to be a game-time decision. And right now, Thomas, the decision is he will not play, at least at the beginning of the ball game, and may not play at all.
Well, you know, you really have to respect Coach Smith and their program. You know, these kids are not being paid. They're not on scholarship. It's a high school game, and anytime you're dealing with a concussion situation, Bill, you have to take the utmost care, and they're doing that now, and you have to respect that.
All right, we're ready to go. Springfield will be receiving the kick as Justin Zen puts foot to football, and we are underway. Taken up by the short man. Getting some running room, and he's finally going to be dropped at about the 30-yard line. So that's where the Springfield Blue Devils will get things started as we take a look at the offense for the Springfield Blue Devils tonight for Coach Phil DeMars. Some big boys on that front line. There you'll see the gentleman who will hopefully be catching the passes tonight from quarterback Todd Leonard and his back core as well. Keep an eye on Marquis Hayes. He is the scat back for the Springfield Blue Devils as Leonard brings him up. And the give right away to Marquis Hayes. They run that wing T, and he picks up about 7 yards as we check in on the Anthony Wayne defensive starters for tonight's ball game. And they pretty much match Anthony Wayne, Thomas, on that front line, pound for pound. Good group of linebackers as well. We talked about Joe Sainholtz in our pregame show. And then in the defensive backfield, Seth Holland, who will be starting at quarterback tonight, pulling double duty with the injury to Jason Sadowski. So now in the Leonard again, up under center. 2nd and 4. And Leonard's going to keep it himself, and he's going to be ripped to the ground. Good defense right there.
Well, Bill, you're going to think that it's a replay of the Delaware Blue Hens. You're going to get the wing T with a split tonight from Springfield. And I don't know, Todd may have just missed a handoff on that, and if he did, he made a great decision not trying to drop it in there when the mesh wasn't there. Just go in the hole and pick up what you can get.
Taylor Taube in the backfield, along with Mr. Hayes. Craig Mossing flank to the left. And this time Hayes gets the call again, and he gets into the defensive backfield. He's got some running room. They're not going to catch him. Good hustle, though. I take that back. Seth Holland ran him down. And Marquis Hayes with a huge run right there.
Well, Billy, what you have here is a Delaware wing T. They run a boom. They double the tackle, kick the end out. Marquis cuts back against the grain. No, boy, did you watch him switch hands over the ball, Billy? He's got great speed, and give Mr. Holland some credit. He made the right pursuit angle, or he never would have gotten Marquis.
I had him gone, but great pursuit, as you said, Thomas, by Seth Holland to run him down. So it's 1st and 10 on the 18, and Hayes gets the call again, and this time he gets dragged down from behind, coming up from his cornerback position.
Well, Bill, it's the same play. Again, all night long, I think you're going to see this formation from Springfield. It's a Delaware wing T with a split, and they're running a boom. And by the boom, I mean they're doubling the tackle, and they're kicking out the end. And Marquis just takes it outside wide because he didn't see the boom hole.
Brandon Kramer, a 6', 172-pound junior on the tackle there. As you see, we talked about the beef up front. We got some big boys down there in the trenches tonight for both teams on both sides of the football. 2nd and 7, the ball on the 15-yard line. Hayes gets the call again. Nice move outside. Battles through a few tackles and is finally brought down to the ground. Number 31 defensive end Alex Sherman on the tackle.
I'm sorry, Billy. You called it in the pregame, Billy. Marquis has exceptional speed. It's the boom left here. They're doubling. They're doubling the tackle, kicking out the end, and Marquis has great quicks.
So to make it 3rd and 4, the ball on the 12-yard line. Big play right now for this drive for the Springfield Blue Devils. Hayes and Taube in the backfield for the Devils. And this time Leonard keeps it, throws a little flare intended for Kyle Kozlik, and just a little bit outside his range. So we'll see. Phil DeMars, is this 4-down territory, Thomas? It looks like Mr. Leonard's not going to be coming out.
Well, when it's...
Nope, they're going to bring in the field goal team.
Well, Bill, you know, one thing that Todd will learn on that play is he has more time than he realizes. He needs to make a little bit better play-action fake, stay with the fake, and he had more time to allow that pattern to develop. If he would have allowed that pattern to develop with a better fake, they might have made that completion and he'd be in the end zone.
Greg Mossing will attempt a 29-yard field goal. The ball will be spotted at the 19-yard line, as Springfield tries to get something out of their opening drive here in this Northern Lakes League contest. Keld is down, the kick is up, and it splits the uprights. Craig Mossing gives the Springfield Blue Devils an early 3-0 lead with 8:55 left here in the first quarter. And I'll tell you, that's the way you want to get started, especially when you come into this ballgame, Thomas, as the underdog.
Well, too, Bill, we should give credit to the holder, number 10, and you're the man with the super charts. It was a great hold. It was a high snap, and he got it down and kept the rhythm on it.
Hans Vetter.
All right, Hans, that's a great hold.
Good hands on Hans.
Yeah, good. A little alliteration there,
Thank
Bill,
you very
actually.
Much. There you see it right there. Not necessarily splits the uprights, but the Blue Devils will take it, and they take an early 3-0 lead at 8:55 to go in the first quarter. Marquis Hayes, 56 yards on that particular drive, and that big one, the 43-yard scamper that got him down into pretty good territory as Craig Mossing gets ready to kick off to a trio of Blue Devil of Anthony Wayne general receivers. Seth Holland is back there. He's joined by Brandon Kramer, and also Matt Persinger is back there as well. Mossing with a pretty good kick, and Kramer's going to pick it up at about the 18-yard line. Gets through some defenders, and he's got some running room. He is going to go all the way, and boy, I tell you, right like that, Anthony Wayne right back in the ball game, picks it up at the 18-yard line, and takes it 82 yards for the touchdown. Boy, it looked like he was going to be down a couple times right there, Thomas, but slipped a couple tackles at about his own 35-yard line, and then pretty much turned on the afterburners, and he went all the way for that touchdown. Brandon Kramer, 82-yard scamper with the extra point coming.
Well, Bill, we must be pretty sharp in the pregame tonight because we dubbed him the Paul Horning of Anthony Wayne, and that's a great return. And you know what happens, Bill, when those kicks are high and short? What happens is it gives the kickoff team, they get down there all in the same wave, and if you break through that first wave, there's nobody there to pick up the slack.
Justin Zen to try to cross the tee. Kick is up, and the kick is good. So just like that, the Anthony Wayne Generals answer the Springfield field goal, and with 8:42 to go in the first quarter, with a kickoff coming to the Devils, it's Anthony Wayne 7, Springfield 3. We're back with more after this.
Now what happens there, Bill? It's high and it's short. Now see that first wave? Look at all the blue jerseys in there. They're all in that first wave, and there's nobody back in a safety position that has a chance to get Mr. Kramer. He's got good speed. He looks like a turnpike kind of runner, Bill. When he gets going north-south, he's got good speed. Good strides. Anybody that gets 2 strides per 5 is pretty fast. And,
well, we talked about the fact, as you see it one more time, Thomas, in the pregame show, that not only is he a halfback on their starting roster, he's also the leading receiver with 23 catches, 538 yards, and 8 touchdowns. So obviously, he does have some wheels.
Yeah, and again, we said he was the Paul Horning of Anthony Wayne. He can run, catch, return, throw, do it all.
So Springfield now on the short end of a 7-3 count as Zen again puts foot to football. And again, one of the up men grabbed it for the Springfield Blue Devils. He looks for some running room and is finally going to be dragged down at about the 42-yard line. Looks like a scramble for the football, but they say that he was down. Springfield will keep the football. Man who returned that for Springfield was Hans Vetter, the gentleman who we were talking about earlier, holding on to that errant snap. So now Springfield goes to work. On the offensive end, they're going to start things from their own 36-yard line. Taube and Hayes in the backfield. Mossing split to the left. Kozlik in the Z-back formation as Hayes gets it again, tries to get outside, and is finally going to get dragged down by about 3 of the Anthony Wayne General defenders. You see the Anthony Wayne starting offense. So Springfield brings the ball up again now, 2nd down and 4 on the 42-yard line. 8 minutes to go in the first quarter. Springfield scored on their first possession, and on the ensuing kickoff, Brandon Kramer went 82 yards to give the Generals the lead right back, and now Springfield is trying to answer with their money man. This is Marquis Hayes. He gets up to about the 49-yard line. So that'll make it. Check that on the 44-yard line, I beg your pardon. 3rd down and 2 as we approach 7.5 minutes to go in the first quarter.
This is interesting, Bill. You know, they're running again the Delaware wing tee, the turned-in wing back with a split, and they're running a boom. They're doubling the tackle, kicking out the end, but they're bringing an offside guard. They have a lot of different ways to run the same play. Kind of an interesting look.
Same setup, Leonard under center with Taube and Hayes in the background, and Hayes gets it again, and he busts over left side. And he's brought down by Joe Sainholtz from his linebacking position.
Billy, I'll tell you, Marquis comes as advertised. He is an extraordinarily quick back.
There you look at the defenders when the Springfield defense gets on the field. 7-3 right now. The offense of Springfield trying to get themselves back into this one. They trail the Generals of Anthony Wayne as we've got a whistle. And it looks like encroachment's going to be called against the Anthony Wayne Generals, so that'll make it 1st and 5 now for the Springfield Blue Devils. Dead ball foul on the Generals. First penalty of the evening. Jon Gorny now split to the left. Marquis Hayes goes into the Z-back position. And this time the give is to Taube, the fullback. And he'll muscle his way very, very close to a 1st down. They're going to call it 2nd down, but he's not very far from getting another 1st down. And now the referee says that's a little too close to call, so let's bring him out. As you take a look at Craig Smith.
Well, Bill, you know what's really creative about this offense is that in the Delaware wing tee is they have so many different configurations to run off tackle. I mean, you know, they're pulling guards from the opposite side. You know, they're doubling the tackle. They're kicking out the end. There's a lot of movement. You've got a turned-in wing back. They give you a lot of different looks to run off tackle.
Same setup right now for Todd Leonard. 2nd and 1, the ball at the 47-yard line of the Anthony Wayne Generals. And the fullback, Taylor Taube, gets more than he needs for a 1st down. That'll move the chains again for the Springfield Blue Devils. Springfield Athletic Department would like to thank the following local companies for their support of Blue Devil Athletics: Spring Meadows Extended Care Facility, the Astor House at Spring Meadows, and Yoder Machinery, as you see the big fella picking up some hard-earned real estate here at Springfield. With Tom Cole, this is Bill Clark. Thanks for joining us here on TV5 as we bring you Northern Lakes League football. Now they set Thomas on the other side with the wing tee, coming from the left side. Leonard from the 36. Here's the money man, Marquis Hayes, and he finally gets wrapped in the defensive backfield as Brandon Kramer comes up to finish him off.
Well, Bill, we've seen out of this Delaware wing tee with a split, reversed pivot. They're running off tackle. It's a boom. That by again boom, I mean they're doubling the down defensive tackle and kicking out the end. Marquis gets up inside in the crease. The only thing I don't get about the formation, Bill, is the turned-in wingback, and we'll have to sometime ask Coach DeMars about that because it's kind of interesting.
2nd and 2, the ball on the 27, and the give this time is to Marquis Hayes. Stays on his feet, and Marquis gets down to about the 23-yard line. Again, another first down for the Springfield Blue Devils as they continue to march. They did it on their very first drive in the ball game that ended with a 29-yard Craig Mossing field goal, but then the Anthony Wayne Generals answered just like that with an 82-yard touchdown return from Brandon Kramer.
You know, Bill, this shows that, you know, creativity comes not just from the passing game, but also from the running game. They've got about 12 different formations and sets and styles to run off tackle, and it's a very creative running attack.
Leonard again to Hayes. Well, I tell you, Marquis, for being only 5'9", 165 pounds, that young man stays on his feet as he gets his 10th carry of the night. And
yeah, Bill, it's just another way to run off tackle. They've got an off tackle with the lead, and Marquis, as you called it, Billy, nice spin move, good power in his legs, good leg drive. He picks up an extra 3 or 4 yards on just a straight effort run.
2nd and 3rd as we get to 4-minute mark here in the first quarter. As Springfield tries to get back, but good defense right there. The Anthony Wayne Generals stood up that offensive line from Springfield. And number 79, it looks like, for the Anthony Wayne defense. Jim LaPointe came in to make the I beg your pardon, that's number 68, Aaron Hartman. 6'1", 240-pound senior, and Aaron is right there to say good morning, good afternoon, and good night.
And that's the way you stuff up the tackle hole.
Nice play by the big middle guard. Now, twins to the left. 2 men in the backfield now as Leonard is going to roll to his left. Looks down, tosses it, it's going to be short. Both the defender, Matt Persinger, and the intended receiver, Kyle Kozlik, both lost their footing. And we were down on the field, Thomas, before the ball game, and it is a little bit damp despite the fact that we had no rain recently. As you see, Craig Smith checking in on his defense as Todd Leonard, with his first pass of the night, falls short. Leonard coming into the ball game, 33 completions out of 86 attempts, 622 yards. So he can put the ball in the air, and he is pretty successful. As we've got the double wing tee with Craig Mossing split to the left. And Leonard looks that way, tries to get it out to Marquis Hayes, but overshoots his intended target. So that will bring on.
And Billy, you know, when Coach DeMars and Todd look at the film tomorrow, they'll break that particular play down. He was open, and Todd's, it's just an A to B throw, and he's got to make that throw to move the chains and keep him in the drive. And the reason Todd didn't make that throw, Bill, is he never got his feet set. You know, he had a little case of happy feet. He was bouncing around a little bit. He's got to get the feet set, turn the shoulders, and make the A to B throw.
Well, that'll turn the ball over on downs for the Anthony Wayne Generals, so they will get things started on their own 20-yard line. Seth Holland calling signals for Craig Smith, and he gives it to Brandon Kramer. Kramer trying to get outside, and he's going to be dragged down. Good defense right there by the Springfield Blue Devils. Number 34, Ric Gonzales on the tackle.
Well, Bill, if you're a fan or aficionado of the running game tonight, I think you're going to get a treat because both of these teams very creatively run the football out of a version or a form of the wing tee. That time, Anthony Wayne had double tights and a wing, and now they're in double tights and a double wing.
2nd and 10, ball remains on the 20-yard line. Here comes Kramer again. He's going to get stuffed in the backfield. A host of Springfield Blue Devils will bring him down as things got a little bit jammed up back there.
Well, Bill, when you play against an offense like Anthony Wayne, where they do a lot of misdirection, what you do defensively, and Dave Conley had his Springfield kids doing a nice job. What you do, Bill, is you fill your gaps and you stay in your gaps, and if you do that, it'll take you right to the ball. If you're trying to follow the ball, you'll get fooled. See, there the Springfield kids are filling the gaps.
Well, Anthony Wayne going in the wrong direction right now. 3rd and 15. And here comes Holland to pass. He dumps it off, but it's going to be way short. It's going to be incomplete as well, as the intended target for the Anthony Wayne Generals, Brad Verboski, can't come up with the football, so it will be a punting situation for the Generals.
And Bill, those kind of passes are tough. Sometimes, you know, you go back as an offensive coordinator and you reevaluate those calls, and Craig might look at that in the morning, because when you've got 3rd and long and you're throwing a 3-yard circle out, the odds of picking up the first are kind of slim.
Taylor Taube and Marquis Hayes back to receive the punt of Joe Sainholtz, who'll probably hit it at about his 3-yard line. And it's a low spiral, and it's going to go over the head and out of bounds of Taylor Taube, but it comes back inbounds. What a break for the Anthony Wayne Generals. Taylor Taube, rightly so, let it go over his head, and it looked like it was going out of bounds, but it took a right, and so Anthony Wayne gets a big break. Springfield will start on their own 30 when we come back from this timeout. Seven to 3, the Generals lead the Springfield Blue Devils, but the Devils now back on offense. 2 quick scores early in the quarter. 29-yard field goal by Springfield, and then an 82-yard kickoff return by Anthony Wayne, and pretty much from then on, it turned into a punting contest as we're down to 1:47 to go here in the first quarter as they pitch it out to the fullback, Taylor Taube, trying to spin around the corner, has the ball ripped out of his hands, and fortunately for Springfield, he's going to pick up an extra 3 yards because the ball went forward, Thomas.
Well, Bill, it's interesting. This is a Delaware wing tee with a double split. It's a speed option. The quarterback brings the defense to him and pitches to the fullback. Good blocking on the outside and the perimeter. This is like the holy roller with the Oakland Raiders. It rolls forward. They'll get the spot where it rolls out of bounds. I'd like to see Marquis get that pitch on the speed option. I'll tell you what. I'd like to see him turn the corner with that.
Brandon Kramer going both ways for the Generals tonight. We're going to talk about the loss of Jason Sadowski in just a moment. He goes both ways as the quarterback, as the punter, and because of that slight concussion last week in their ball game against Perrysburg, the coaches felt, and rightly so, that he was not 100%, so they kept him out of the ball game, Thomas. And as a former coach, obviously the gentleman and the kids' welfare always has to come first.
Well, you know, as we said before, Billy, you know, these kids are not on scholarship. They're not being paid. It's a game. It's high school. And, boy, you have any concern about a head injury or a concussion, those are aggregate injuries, Bill, that, you know, that if you have one, then you get the second one, it's worse. You know, you do the right thing and you keep the youngster out, and you really have to respect that.
Marquis Hayes is the marquee player so far for the Springfield Blue Devils. He's been carrying the mail most of the night for Phil DeMars in his 4th year here at Springfield. 1st and 10 again for the Springfield Blue Devils. They continue to pick up yardage, but then when they get close to the red zone, they can't get it down any farther. But right now they'll try to change that as Taylor Taube gets the handoff and gets the ball up to about the 48-yard line is where they say his knee was marked down, so that'll make it 2nd down now.
Bill, I've never seen so many creative ways to run off tackle. Coach DeMars does a nice job with his Delaware wing tee. Double tights, double wings, splits, motion, and they ran a quick hitter off tackle. It's an interesting offense.
Fast-moving first quarter. Both teams pretty much keeping it on the ground, and that's where Springfield will go to work now. 2nd and 5, the ball on their own 44-yard line. Marquis Hayes, nice block. Tries to get into the defensive backfield, spins away from trouble and gets down to about the 46-yard line of the Anthony Wayne Generals. And Thomas, I'll tell you, that young man was caught 2 or 3 times and should have been down about 5 yards before, but he just doesn't stop moving.
Yeah, again, talk about a creative way to run off tackle. Again, they're pulling a couple of the guards. They're kicking out the end, and Marquis is, boy, he's a good runner, Bill. He's got great speed as advertised. But, you know, a lot of times kids with the speed don't necessarily have the physical toughness, and Marquis looks like he's physically tough. I mean, he takes a shot. He's got great leg drive. That's a nice football play, guys.
So another 1st down. This will be the last play of the first quarter as we're down to about 7 seconds to go. They give it to Taube right up the gut, and he rides about 3 or 4 Anthony Wayne Generals down to about the Anthony Wayne 40-yard line. It'll make it 2nd down and about 5 to go when we come back as the first quarter has come to an end here from Springfield. And at the end of the first 12 minutes, Springfield trails the Anthony Wayne Generals by a score of 7 to 3. And we'll be back with second quarter action on TV5 right after this timeout.
Friday Night Football is brought to you by The Andersons, more for your home. Cellular Central, your Verizon Wireless Platinum agent. The Alliance of Construction Professionals, build your future with us. Banner Mattress and Furniture. Subway and your local Subway sandwich shops. Cricket Comfortable Wireless, another Leap innovation. Kuzno's Restaurants, great dining. TAS Electronics.
Welcome back to second quarter action. Springfield with the football right now as they continue to move the chains. Another first down on the first play from scrimmage in the second quarter. Taylor Taube picking up the necessary yardage. Marquis Hayes in the first quarter, 11 carries, 88 yards. Taylor Taube in quarter number 1 before he just made that last run, 6 carries for 22 yards. Thanks to Tom Fitzgerald for those numbers. For Tom Cole, I'm Bill Clark. Thanks for joining us here on TV5. High school football. Northern Lakes League style. Single setback now is Taube. And he gets the call again over right tackle. Pounds his way forward. And I tell you, Thomas, that's the kind of ground game that if they can keep it close, score-wise, Thomas, I think that's probably the way they're going to have to go tonight.
Well, Billy, you certainly keep the ball away from Anthony Wayne, and what they've got is Delaware wing tee with a split. They're running a quick hitter off tackle. Springfield runs the ball very well. If they can incorporate some nice play action with this running game tonight, they'll be a force to deal with offensively.
Second down and 8, ball at the 37-yard line of the Generals. As again, the Springfield Blue Devils continue to chew up real estate and time as we start the second quarter. Now Leonard's back. He swings it out to Marquis Hayes. And Hayes will get it down very, very close to the first down marker. Nice pass from Todd Leonard. And Marquis Hayes not picking up a whole lot of passes this year, Thomas. That's only his 5th reception coming into the ballgame. He had 4 receptions for 76 yards. But when you're that fast, you got to be pretty dangerous as Brandon Kramer brings him to the ground.
What they'll do, Billy, is they'll find more creative ways to get him the ball. He's the kind of player that you've got to find different ways to get him the ball in different positions on the field because he's a game breaker.
Very close to the 100-yard mark is Mr. Hayes. Looking to go over that right now. Look at that nice stutter move. He does go over the 100-yard mark, but the ball is loose. And they say Anthony Wayne has recovered the football. Marquis Hayes with some second effort had the ball stripped just before he got to the ground. And that's a tough break for the Springfield Blue Devils as coming up with the football for the Anthony Wayne Generals, Billy Benner. A 6-foot, 185-pound junior recovers the pigskin for the Generals.
Well, you know, Marquis is in traffic. He makes a little Barry Sanders hop, skip, jump move there. It's a great move. And, you know, honestly, that's a great defensive play. They're taught that. The kids watch it on TV in the college and the pros. Everybody tackles and strips the ball. It's good defensive play.
Verboski, the fullback, gets the call on the first play. Doesn't really go too far. There's the gentleman of the moment right there. Billy Benner recovered that fumble. Also knocked it out.
You know, a lot of people don't realize, Bill, that, you know, in defensive practice, those are drills. And those guys are taught in tackling that they come in behind the ball and they strip it out. And, you know, the end result is a lot of defensive turnovers.
Hey, while the Anthony Wayne Generals get ready to go, we got to thank everybody up here in the press box at Springfield. If we had to eat everything they brought up here, this would be an announcerless game right now.
Well, the guys up here are all pro. They know how to do it. They're all league, all pro, and all world here in the press box.
Seth Holland rolling out to his right but can't get the pass off. I think we might come back to Springfield all the time, whether we do the game or not.
I don't even give me a blank screen, and I'll sit up here and we'll just pretend we're doing a game.
We'll telestrate. We'll telestrate on that monitor when there's nothing on there. Here you see Seth Holland rolling out, but can't get rid of the football.
Yeah, Seth. Well, he pulls it down, Billy, and you know, sometimes I've always said that sometimes the pass you don't make is an important one. It wasn't there. He pulled it down and did the right thing.
Look of concern on the faces of the Anthony Wayne general coaching staff, led by Craig Smith. They're going the wrong direction right now as Holland drops back into the shotgun. Here comes the cross buck. Nice move right there. Persinger gets the carry. But they had an awful lot of distance to make up. It was 4th and 16, and they're going to come up short. So it will be a punting situation for the visitors as Phil DeMars looks on, happy with his defense.
I'm sorry, Billy. They're running out of the gun, and they're just running a boom out of the gun, off tackle. But you know what's hard? The only thing that's hard about these two offenses, the Delaware wing tee, is when you have to throw the ball, it's tough, you know, because you don't have people split out, you don't have the defense spread. It's a tougher deal to throw the football out of both of these formations that we're running tonight.
Joe Sainholtz this time punting out of the other end zone. He's already kicked one out of the end zone already tonight. Now this one bounces but doesn't get the Anthony Wayne bounce that the last punt did. So it'll come dead at about the 46-yard line. Springfield will go to work in pretty good field position. We'll be back with more from Springfield. 7-3 Anthony Wayne. So here come the Springfield Blue Devils. They're going to start on the Anthony Wayne 44-yard line. Great field position. They trail right now 7-3. Nice move right there. Coming out the right side, that's Steve Harvey. And we've got a Springfield Blue Devil on the turf as we see that last play.
Yeah, what they're running here, Bill, is a little bit of a dive option out of the Delaware wing tee, and Steve's got it in the right arm. It turns into a turnpike runner, north-south, and that was a nice look. You know, Springfield runs the ball very well, very creatively. I mean, it's certainly a very creative offense, and they just need to incorporate a little play action passing that'll work with the creative running style that they have.
Offensive tackle Nick Johnson. Looks like he is the injured Blue Devil. Tried to check it. We believe that's number 73, but now you can see the training staff making sure he can see, got his bell rung, it looks like. While we have this break in the action, the Springfield Athletic Department would like to thank the following local companies for their support of Springfield Blue Devil Athletics: Spring Meadows Extended Care Facility, the Astor House at Spring Meadows, and Yoder Machinery. It is Nick Johnson, but fortunately he is up and leaving the field under his own power. As we remind you, this copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Buckeye Cable System and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of the Buckeye Cable System. You know what's amazing about the guys up here in the press box? With all this food, they haven't missed a play.
Well,
the clock is right, the score is right.
I haven't seen Sam drop a hoagie or a piece of pizza yet, so I don't know. I think he's got pretty good hands.
Sam was a pretty good athlete out here.
He hasn't dropped anything. He hasn't dropped anything out there.
I didn't realize he was a Hall of Fame eater, though.
I put him up against Fitzy. We'll take a look at that later.
Gentlemen, tooting the whistles tonight. A good crew right now, but really haven't had to do a whole lot of work tonight. Pretty clean game right now as new quarterback in the ball game for the Springfield Blue Devils. As we mentioned before, Steve Harvey, 5'11", 180-pound junior.
Billy, all they're doing is running a quick hitter from the fullback position, and the thing with the Delaware wing tee is a lot of the running plays are slower developing plays, so you have to augment that with a couple quick hitters, and that's one of their quick hitters is just a fullback dive over the zero hole. It's a good-looking play for them.
Chad Pabin in the ball game as well now as a running back. You see the statistics on Mr. Pabin. 2nd and 5 ball on the 27-yard line. Springfield down 7-3. As Harvey keeps it himself and is going to pay for that little jaunt. Gets back just about to the line of scrimmage where he attracts a host of white-clad Anthony Wayne generals.
Billy, there's two things there. Steve makes a nice fake. If they can kick that, and I don't know if we're going to see that again or not, but if they can kick out that defensive end for Anthony Wayne and give Steve a little more time. He doesn't have to step up and run. He could have made that corner throw, and it would have been a huge play. But given the fact that they didn't get him kicked out well enough, Steve did the right thing and went up in the chute and could get what he could get.
Not bad yardage for a quarterback, so you got to be looking out for him if you're one of the defenders for Anthony Wayne. As Harvey's barking signals. This time he gives it to Marquis Hayes. As Hayes steps through one tackle of Bersinger and finally gets up to about the 20-yard line, but Marquis is getting up and looks like he's a little ginger on that left ankle, so he may come out to take a look at a...
Well, and again, we talked about, a lot of the running plays in the Delaware wing team, Bill, are longer developing, and yeah, they got a little twist. It looked like a little twist on his knee. Again, if Springfield can just do a little bit better job on the play action and set the play action up and execute it with the way they run the football, there should be people running free in the secondary.
Clock continues to run. We're down to 5:50 to go in the first half. 7-3 Anthony Wayne, if you just joined us here on TV5. Harvey with a keeper. Dances all the way back the other way, has a block, and he is in for the touchdown. Steve Harvey looked like he was stopped at the line of scrimmage, reversed his field, and took it all the way in. A 23-yard scamper.
Well, I tell you what, Billy, Steve Harvey made a great play there. He looked like that was circa Slick Jimmy Street from University of Texas, 1968. What they did is they ran a wishbone, or they ran a speed option left, and Steve saw that there wasn't much there. Changed field, changed direction, 90-degree angle, and took it the opposite way, and that's a great play.
Chad Mossing with one extra point already tonight, looks to add to that right now. Hans Vetter with the hold. And the kick is good. Mossing 2 for 2, and now the Springfield Blue Devils go back up on top of the visitors from Anthony Wayne by a score of 10-7 with 5:34 to go here in the second quarter. We'll come back with more as you see Mr. Harvey doing the dance. A 23-yard scamper gets into the end zone, and Springfield now leads Anthony Wayne 10-7. We're back with more right after this. There we are at Springfield High School tonight for our TV5 High School Game of the Week. This is not the only game going on as far as the Northern Lakes League is concerned. Elsewhere tonight, Rossford is at Bowling Green in a huge ball game. Maumee will be at Southview, and Northview battles the Yellow Jackets of Perrysburg. I'll give you the City League schedule in just a moment. As Craig Mossing attempts the kickoff. A low line drive taken by the up man. And he's going to get wrestled down. Ball's going to be spotted at about the 34-yard line, so that's where Anthony Wayne will go to work to try to get the lead back right here. As you see Seth Holland getting some last-minute instructions from his head coach. And Thomas, we talked about Jason Sadowski not being in the ball game tonight. 74 completions out of 123 attempts, 1,400 yards passing. So when you take that out of your offense, it really makes that wing T a lot less effective because they can really key on the run.
Let me give you an example, Bill, and not to use hyperbole, but when you take Brett Favre off the Packers, is it a different offense? And this young man throws the ball very well for Anthony Wayne.
Well, he also, Seth Holland, holds on to the football very well. Rolls out on a naked bootleg pretty well, doesn't have a receiver, tucks it, and picks up about 12 yards on the carry, so it will be a first down for the Anthony Wayne Generals, their biggest play from scrimmage tonight.
Well, Billy, both these offenses are sleight-of-hand offenses. By that, I mean it's, constant misdirection, constant motion, trying to find where the ball is, and they do a nice job of it.
Phil DeMars checking his playlist to make sure his defense is in the right position. As Holland goes to the shotgun with twins to the left and twins to the right, but hands it right up the middle to Verboski, the fullback, and he goes nowhere. He meets a blue and red wall, and probably he's going to lose about a yard on that particular play.
Well, Billy, you know what? When Craig looks at the films tomorrow, this is something that he's such a smart coach, he'll do differently. What he's trying to do is he's spreading them wide with double slots and trying to give the appearance out of the shotgun. They're going to throw the ball and then running the draw. And what he's got to do is he's got to throw it a few times out of the double wides and then set that precedent up and then give it on the draw.
Chris Piasecki on that last tackle to start things off for Springfield. Quick pass out, a little bubble screen to Brandon Kramer, but it goes nowhere as the Blue Devils had that sniffed out very well, thank you. And they're going to lose some more yardage, they being Anthony Wayne. So now it will be 3rd down. And the ball on the 45.
Well, partner, you called it. I like it. The bubble screen outside, the bubble hitch. Yep, there you go. Nice throw, nice catch. And oh man, that's a late hit. Yeah, that's great camera shot, guys. Yeah, you got to be careful. You're going to get called on that.
So 3rd and 11. Clock continues to run. 3 and 40 going here in the first half. Holland's going to go for it all. He's got Brandon Kramer, and it's almost intercepted. Good defense by the Springfield Blue Devils. Jon Gorny back on the cover, the 6'1", 180-pound senior. 3.48 grade point average. Mr. Gorny was the MVP of the boys volleyball team, so he obviously knows how to go back and go after balls.
Well, you know what, Billy? When they look at the film tomorrow, Seth is a very nice young athlete. What he's got to do is he's not getting his feet set. He doesn't have a good solid base when he's throwing the ball. His feet are chopping up and down, and that's why the ball's floating on him. He's got to get his feet set and transfer some weight.
Zaneholtz again to punt. It'll be number 3 for him tonight, looking at Hayes and Taube. And Taube's going to take it on the first bounce. And he's got some running room. Looking for some blocks, and no flags on the play, but Taylor Taube, what a gutsy move right there. He took it on the first bounce, and basically Thomas just ran away from the defense.
Yeah, he's really got good speed for a big man. He looks a little bit like a refrigerator with a head, and he gets it going. He's a turnpike runner. He's north-south, and he delivers a little bit of a blow there.
34-yard return, but unfortunately they're going to lose a little bit. There was a hold on that particular play. Might be one of the reasons Mr. Taube was so free. See if we can see the hold right here as he gets the ball at about the 25.
Yeah, it might have been in the corner of the screen. Looks like a young man may have had his arm outside, wrapped around on the potential tackler.
Well, I never saw a flag come down, so I'm not really sure where the actual hold took place. But now Phil DeMars and the coaching staff at Springfield talking to one of the officials, but the official has a deaf ear to their complaints.
You know, a lot of times, Billy, people don't understand why the return yardage is so great in games, and it's so difficult to simulate the returns in practice. You can't do it. It's tough to do.
Todd Leonard back in at quarterback, and this time Marquis Hayes doesn't really go too far. He came up that one play a little bit earlier, a little bit on the limp side, but he is back as we knew he would be. He wants to be an athletic trainer. Favorite subject in high school here at Springfield for Mr. Hayes. He likes science. His dad was a pretty good athlete too, believe it or not. He played football at Scott. Hayes, 14 carries, 103 yards, so he is over the century mark for the evening. Last week against Maumee, Mr. Hayes, 14 carries, 73 yards, so a pretty good night of work for number 6. Now Leonard keeps it. He is being hustled down. Good defense right there. Aaron Hartman from his middle guard position, the 6'1", 240-pound senior, chased Mr. Leonard for all he was worth. And that'll bring up a 3rd down situation and 11 yards to go. The ball on the Springfield 36-yard line.
Well, Billy, there are a couple of things there. Coach DeMars, he's such a smart coach. He'll figure that out. But when you run, he's trying to fake a dive or a dive option and throw off of that. You can't get enough depth to get your shoulders turned to be able to throw the football. It's pretty tough to do. You're too close to the line of scrimmage.
Under 2 minutes to go here in the first half. It's 10-7. Springfield right now surprising the Anthony Wayne Generals, and we've got a whistle before the play. That's going to be a dead ball delay of game call against Springfield, and that's too bad.
Okay, regular guys, regular.
Yeah, those are drive killers, Bill.
And you can't give more real estate back when you're really starting to move the football, but this is probably the best defensive stand of the ballgame for Anthony Wayne to this point.
Well, they should know how to defense the offense, Bill, because they're both looking in the mirror. They run against the same offense every day. It's various formations of the Delaware wing T, so it shouldn't be any surprises to either one of them.
Mossing near side in a wide out position. Hayes in motion. And this time Leonard keeps it, tries to cut back. The ball is loose, but it's going to be recovered by Springfield. Good play right there. Very alert play by offensive guard for the Springfield Blue Devils. Came up with that football. Josh Lucas, 6'2", 250-pound junior, was there to make the grab.
Well, Billy, what Todd did, he had the right idea. They're running the speed option, and Todd tried to do the same thing that Steve Harvey did, but he's not quite as quick and not quite as strong. The idea was right, cutting against the grain, and the shoot was there. He just got to go a little faster and a little stronger.
Timeout on the field right now gives us a chance to tell you what's going on in the City League tonight. St. Francis is at Bowser. Central Catholic, undefeated for the season. They were at start. That's a huge game against the fun and gun offense of Mr. Gucciardo Jr. St. John's will take on Scott at Rogers. Woodward tangles with Waite. That is homecoming for Charlie Delker's crew. And tomorrow Rogers will travel over to Libby to take on the Cowboys. With Tom Fitzgerald and Tom Cole, I'm Bill Clark. We are at Springfield High School, a minute 40 seconds away on the clock from halftime. Stay with us at halftime. Tom and I will talk over the leaders in the various categories of the football leagues around Northwest Ohio, as it is going to be now 4th and 16 with the ball on the 31-yard line and a punt situation for the Springfield Blue Devils. Matt Bersinger, the lone setback for Anthony Wayne, as Craig Mossing looks to put foot to football and does at about the 20-yard line. A booming kick and a fair catch called by Matt Bersinger. He hands the ball off to the Springfield Blue Devils, but unfortunately he caught it first. So Anthony Wayne will take over as they are going to mark the football at the 33-yard line of Anthony Wayne to get things started. And right now, Anthony Wayne needs to get some points because they trail the Springfield Blue Devils by a score of 10-7. And as we said in our open, when we greeted you earlier tonight here on TV5, this is one of those games that Anthony Wayne, they've got Southview next week, and they've got to be careful not to look forward to that ball game. Springfield comes into tonight. They're just 1-3 in the league, while the Anthony Wayne Generals are 3-1. So you would think Anthony Wayne would have the upper hand, but right now Springfield playing some great football on both sides of the ball. Here goes Seth Holland. He's got some running room as he tucked it back on the quarterback draw, and we've got a flag on the play at the end of the play. So we'll see if that's going to come back or Anthony Wayne's going to pick up some free yardage.
I think somebody came in on the end of that a little bit, Bill. Check it on the monitor. Seth's a very nice runner, real strong athlete. They spread him out. He doesn't see anything. They spread the field. They sideline to sideline, takes it up to shoot. Let's see what we get here. Seth is trying to get out of bounds now. I guess it was a face mask underneath. Nice shot, guys. That's great camera work.
Now, is that going to be one of those intentional face masks or one of the short ones, and it's going to be an inadvertent face mask, so it's only going to be a 5-yarder.
It looked like he let go. You know what Seth's got to do, Bill, is they've got to get him. He's a good athlete and a strong kid. They got to get him in a rhythm. He's got to set his feet and throw the football and transfer some weight. He's looking to run first and throw later, and he's going to have to change that.
Casey Irvine, Joe Sainholt split to the left. In the shotgun is Mr. Holland. And he's going to keep it himself. Breaks 2 tackles. And finally Taylor Taube from his linebacking position comes back to make the tackle. And right now Mr. Holland is a one-man wrecking crew for the Anthony Wayne Generals.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's a really tough kid, Bill, with a lot of speed. And what Craig's doing, wisely in Anthony Wayne is he's spreading the field in the gun, making Springfield defend sideline to sideline, and he's just really opening up running lanes for Seth. Nice little fake. Seth needs to get the ball in the other hand, but he's a strong runner, tough kid.
Great crowd tonight here at Springfield, and they are being entertained right now. It is a very, very good ball game. 10-7 with under a minute to play here in the first half. The hosting Springfield Blue Devils with the lead. We've got a flag on the play as Holland tries the right side this time. And where that flag was thrown thrown probably was a little bit of jumping on that offensive line, and it will be illegal procedure against Anthony Wayne.
Well, you know, they must just not, Coach Craig must not be real comfortable with Seth actually throwing the football, Bill. They're just spreading them out, and they're just relying on Seth's running abilities, which are terrific, but there's 46 seconds plus. They need to spread the field and let him step up and throw a couple footballs here.
Ric Gonzales having it explained to him by the referees, and with his help from Coach Phil DeMars, the Blue Devils will accept the penalty. So that'll move it back. It'll be first now and 15, the ball at the 42-yard line of Springfield. And here comes Holland rolling left. And throws it across the middle, goes off of Sainholtz's shoulder pad. Joe started to go down. I'm not sure if he lost his footing on that, Thomas, but it hit off the top of his right shoulder pad and fell to the ground.
Yeah, Joe, look at the film tomorrow, and he'll be the first person to say I should have had that. Seth did a nice job rolling out left, got his shoulders turned, made a good throw. You got to catch that ball. That's an A to B throw, and you got to make that catch.
30 seconds. The clock is stopped with the incompletion. Seth Holland doing a nice job standing in for injured starting quarterback Jason Sadowski, who injured himself last week in the Perrysburg game. Here's a little screen pass, and it is snuffed out big time. Great play right there.
Well, give Coach Conley and his defense credit there. That's a film play, Bill, and by film play I mean what happened is they spread the field. They're going to do a little drop screen here, and the only thing that Seth's got to learn is he dropped back too quickly in the red screen. What you do is you drop your set, and as they're coming to you, then you retreat gradually and dump it off, but he gave screen away right away.
Big Mike Weaver had that all sniffed out, the 6'2", 250-pound senior, looking to maybe play some football at UT, and I'm sure if he hits like that, Coach Tom Amstutz would love to have him in the midnight blue and gold.
Well, that'll be a play he'll cut out, put on the tape, and send it out to Coach.
Now, he comes from football territory, Thomas. He was born in Charleston, South Carolina. They know how to hit down there.
Yeah, they'll hit you when you get out the bus, I guarantee you.
Mike goes both ways here. Not only is he a defensive end, but he also plays some tight end in the Springfield offensive scheme of things as well. As you see, the head man of Springfield, as we said, Phil DeMars right now in his fourth year, 16-21 overall, but has gotten better each year. His first year in 1999, the Blue Devils were 2-8. In 2000, they were 6-4. They matched that mark last year at 6-4, and right now, though, they're having some problems. They're at 2-5, but right now they're on track to pick up a huge win, but a lot of football to go in this one. 20 seconds to go before the intermission. And here comes the reverse. Matt Persinger with a football. And he's going to get knocked out of bounds and probably going to pick up an extra 15 yards. That Marquis Hayes got there a little bit too late. Persinger ends up back by the track here at Springfield, being attended to by some of the Springfield coaches, and that was an obvious call, and that's too bad. I know Marquis Hayes very aggressive, but you got to start putting the flaps down, Thomas, when you get close to the sideline.
Yeah, they're running the shotgun. They're making it look sprint right with a reverse. It's a nice call. What I would have liked is a pass off the end of this if the young man could throw the ball. Don't know if he can, but yeah, you know what happens a lot of times in those sideline angles, Bill, when you're coming up to make the tackles, you don't have a good view of the sideline, and Marquis wasn't a dirty play. He just, was aggressive, and the kids make mistakes.
Well, it is an automatic first down, so that gives the Anthony Wayne Generals pretty good field position. They're going to have the ball on the 25-yard line with 10 ticks left to go here in the first half. The Generals trail 10-7, so we'll see if that defensive blunder by the Blue Devils will come and cost them as Holland is back in the shotgun. Look for him to go into the end zone. He's rolling right. Got a couple receivers. This is Brandon Kramer. He'll catch the football. He'll catch it short of the first down marker, and that'll stop the clock. Stay with us at halftime. We'll check out the leaders of all the leagues around Northwest Ohio, the City League and the Northern Lakes League, and we'll also take a look at how some of the teams in the area are doing in the computer polls. Right now, a lot of local teams will be playing some postseason football, Thomas, and for people to say in other parts of the state that Toledo and Northwest Ohio does not have good football, they haven't been up in a while.
No, it's great football, Bill. It's well-coached football. It's fundamental football. We have great young athletes, great young student scholar athletes, which I think is the most important thing. And yeah, it's get out and see some games. It's terrific. You gotta go into the end zone here, obviously, Bill. And you know, I think that they're most comfortable with the young man at quarterback now. He's a leg thrower. By a leg thrower, I mean he needs to get outside and the sprint out and generate some momentum to be able to throw the football. He seems to do that a lot better than in the pocket. I'd look for him to try and run a sprint out, maybe to the wide side here, which is coming to us in the booth, and flood the corner of the end zone here. He seems to throw a little bit better on the move.
Well, unless there's a defensive penalty, this will be the last play of the first half, and the Anthony Wayne Generals send trips to the left and a single receiver to the right, and Holland is in the shotgun. He's rolling right, throwing it into the end zone, and he's going to overshoot his target. That's going to end the first half as the ball falls incomplete, and after 2 quarters of football from Springfield, the Springfield Blue Devils host the Anthony Wayne Generals, and they lead the Generals by a score of 10-7. Stay with us. We've got halftime coming up. Tom and I will take a look at what's going on around the City League and the Northern Lakes League as far as the leaders from the rushing standpoint, the passing standpoint, etc., etc. Our Jen Snyder now is getting ready to have a chat with Craig Smith, the head coach of the Anthony Wayne Generals, and we'll go down to Jen right now. Jennifer?
Thanks, Bill. I'm here with Coach Craig Smith. Now, Coach, you've been running well in the first half. Do you think you can get your play-action pass game going in the second?
I don't know. I don't think we've ran the ball well at all. I think they're controlling the line of scrimmage till the end there. So hopefully we'll get a little momentum. We got to get a score, but we need to pick it up in the second half.
All right, Coach. Thanks. Good luck. Back to you, Bill.
Thanks, Jennifer. We appreciate that. We are at intermission at Springfield. Good crowd on hand, and the hosting Springfield Blue Devils lead the Anthony Wayne Generals by a count of 10-7 after 2 quarters. We've got more football coming your way on TV5, so don't you go away. Well, it's not moon over Miami, it's moon over Holland, Ohio, because that's where we're at as the Springfield Blue Devils are hosting the Anthony Wayne Generals at halftime. It's the Springfield Blue Devils 10 and the Anthony Wayne Generals 7. With Tom Cole, I'm Bill Clark, and we welcome you back to Springfield as we are getting a nice play of halftime music by the visiting band from Anthony Wayne. Enjoy some of the halftime festivities from Springfield, courtesy of the Anthony Wayne Marching General Band. Anthony Wayne, the Marching Generals. Of course, most people know that band has been able to be featured around the country. I think you could almost say, Thomas, the world-famous Anthony Wayne Marching Band.
No question, Bill. Both bands are excellent.
That's right. We'll be seeing Springfield in just a couple of minutes.
Enjoying it.
Welcome back to the Cellular Central halftime report here from Springfield, where the Blue Devils lead the Anthony Wayne Generals by a score of 10-7. With Tom Cole, I'm Bill Clark, as we welcome you back to our TV5 Game of the Week. And as we mentioned to you in the second quarter, we're going to take a look at some of the scoring leaders. First from the Northern Lakes League, and one of the gentlemen we're watching tonight, Brad Kramer. number 3 right now. This is interesting. Eric Soltis from Rossford. Most of his points are coming from his leg. One of the best kickers, Thomas, you'll see probably in the country right now.
Yeah, there's some talented kids there, Bill, and I'll tell you, the young man, the Darren Page from Rossford, is really thought of as one of the marquee players in northwestern Ohio, and then the scoring leaders. We've seen, Mr. Barksdale. He's terrific. Unfortunately, we haven't seen Fred Davis, but I've heard tremendous upside for him in college, and there's just a plethora of talent this year in the City League.
There is a lot of talent, both on the rushing and passing and receiving aspects of high school football here in Northwest Ohio. As we take a look at the standings, Central and St. Francis, of course, they're going to clash next Friday night, and you'll see that game right here on TV5. We will be over at the Glass Bowl, and Thomas, that should be huge.
Yeah, that's going to be the premier game, I think, in Northwestern Ohio, Bill, and a lot of things at stake. The City League, the playoffs, it's going to be a tremendous game.
You saw the roller coaster league called the Northern Lakes League this year. Boy, I tell you, you need a program because you don't know who's going to win. And, of course, Findlay and Clay are going toe-to-toe tonight, so that should be an interesting ball game as well, as you also check out the league standings of the TAAC as halftime entertainment continues on the carpet here at Springfield High School, where the hosting Blue Devils lead the Anthony Wayne Generals at the break by a score of 10-7. We're back with more football on TV5 right after we step aside for this timeout. Score of 10-7 on our TV5 High School Game of the Week from Springfield, as you see part of the good crowd on hand here in Holland, Ohio, as we check out the rushing leaders. First in the Northern Lakes League, Thomas, some good runners there.
Well, Mr. Jones is tough, and I like the youngster from Southview, Kelly Rowe, and we already talked about Darren Page. And Marquise, well, he's faster than fast.
Checking things out in the City League, Derek Barksdale, not only the scoring leader there, but look at those, 1,348.
Yeah, well, Derek's, a little big man. I mean, he runs big. We talked about the young man at Rogers, and haven't seen Mr. Rice yet.
Well, I tell you, what do you say with Rice you get egg roll? You always talk about Coach Cromwell.
Yeah, right.
We'll be checking out Coach Cromwell next week against Greg Dempsey's Central Catholic Fighting Irish. That, as you mentioned, Thomas, should be a huge City League game, not only with City League implications, but also playoff implications as well. A ton of player points, or we should say playoff points.
Yeah, Billy, it's going to be the place to be Friday night. And the passing leaders, Anthony Wayne, the young man that they're keeping out, Jason Sadowski, and I really applaud them keeping him out. Kelly Rose had a great year. And there's the young man I like it, Maumee. Alex Flutie Reese and Todd Leonard from Springfield has done a nice job throwing the ball also.
Over in the City League, you got a lot of young quarterbacks. You got underclassmen in Billy Collins at start, Dan Amato's a sophomore, Kevin Bingle's a junior, Mickey Cassidy's a junior. So a lot of these kids, the Mater youngster over at Waite will all be back next year as well. So the ball definitely will be in the air when we talk about football.
That bodes well for putting it up. I kind of like that, Bill, actually.
Springfield's marching band entertaining us at halftime as we take a look at the gentleman who catch a lot of those passes we just saw. The man who had an 82-yard kickoff return in this ball game, Brandon Kramer, the leading receiver for the Anthony Wayne Generals. Craig Mossing also in this ball game, the leading receiver for the Blue Devils as well. Almost 40 yards a catch. Doesn't catch many, but when he catches them, they are for long distances.
Absolutely.
Over in the City League, some pretty good receivers there. Ryan Robinson, every time he touches the ball, statistics say he gains 16.5 yards for the Central Catholic Fighting Irish. So a lot of great athletes all over Northwest Ohio in high school football in this 2002 campaign. We've got more football coming your way here on TV5. You come on back. We're at halftime. The Springfield Blue Devils lead the Anthony Wayne Generals 10-7. Halftime continues as the fans here at Springfield enjoy the Springfield Blue Devil Marching Band as we check out the prep football poll. This is the AP State poll. Division I, St. John's currently number 6th in the rankings. And you go to Division II, we are loaded. St. Francis number 2, Central number 4. That may change before next week. Southview number 6 right now in Division II. Now that's just the prep poll. Those are not the computer rankings as I understand them. Well, those are the computer rankings, I beg your pardon. That's exactly what those are. We're going to step aside and let you know that not only can these youngsters play football, they also perform well in the classroom thanks to Cricket Wireless. Two quarters in the book so far here in Holland, Ohio, as the Springfield Blue Devils lead the visitors from Anthony Wayne by a score of 10-7. So you would think, Thomas, with that score, the numbers in the stats will not be that high. As we take a look at the halftime stats, brought to you by Banner Mattress and Furniture.
Well, Billy, the number of plays, certainly a differential. Springfield having 31, the Anthony Wayne Generals 19. The rush yardage, huge on the side of the Springfield Devils, 174 to 51. And passing yards, it's been a little light in the passing game, Bill, 9 and 7 respectively. So the rush yards for the Blue Devils, a huge differential there.
So we've got a 10-7 score here at the intermission, as our halftime stats, as we mentioned, brought to you by Banner Mattress and Furniture. And we thank them for their sponsorship of our stats. We're also going to introduce you to our Doc's MVP at the end of the ball game. He'll receive a $25 gift certificate from the Doc's Restaurants in downtown Toledo. And our Subway Impact Player of the game will receive a foot-long sub from the area Subway sandwich shops in Northwest Ohio. And speaking of Subway, we want to thank the Subway store at Door and Burn for providing a huge and delicious sub for our crew tonight to keep them not hungry during tonight's ball game. Halftime is our score. Springfield 10, Anthony Wayne 7. Third quarter action is yours on TV 5 right after this timeout.
Friday Night Football is brought to you by The Andersons, more for your home. Cellular Central, your Verizon Wireless Platinum agent. The Alliance of Construction Professionals. Build your future with us. Banner Mattress and Furniture. Subway and your local Subway sandwich shops. Cricket Comfortable Wireless, another leap innovation. Quiznos Restaurants, great dining. TAS Electronics.
10-7 is our halftime score, and right now Jennifer is standing by with Phil DeMars. Jennifer?
Thanks, Phil. I'm here with Coach DeMars. Now, Coach, we saw Marquis Hayes on the run a lot the first half. Are we going to continue to see that in the second?
Hey, I hope we can break him loose for a few more. He's a good athlete, but the kids are really working hard up front, so things look good in that way.
All right, Coach. Thanks a lot. Good luck tonight. Back to you, Bill.
Jennifer, thanks so much. We appreciate the effort as always. And Thomas, let's go inside both of those locker rooms as the teams continue to loosen up for the third quarter. Right now, Springfield on the good end of a 10-7 count. And if you are Phil DeMars, are you going to keep obviously giving the ball to Marquis, I would assume?
Yeah, I'd find different ways to get him the ball, Bill, and Coach DeMars is very creative with the wing tee. I've seen 57 different ways to run off tackle already out of the wing tee. He's very good at it. He's very creative at it. I try to get Marquis involved in maybe a little bit of the passing game with some of the screens and maybe hitches and that type thing. Absolutely, and keep doing what they're doing.
And then if you look at Anthony Wayne.
On the other side of the ball, I think Craig's real upset. I don't think he's happy with the way they're running the football, even though they had 50-some yards. They're used to putting big running numbers on the board. So he's probably got into the offensive alignment a little bit, challenged them to come off the ball. And they certainly have very talented athletes. He wants to run the ball better in the second half.
All right, we're going to step aside one more time, and when we come back, we'll get ready for the third quarter kickoff. We are at the break, and Springfield leads Anthony Wayne by a score of 10-7. More football to come on TV5 right after this timeout. Welcome back to Springfield High School. Tom Cole, Bill Clark with you from TV5's coverage of high school football, Northern Lakes League style. The scoring started pretty quickly for the Springfield Blue Devils. The first time they touched the football, they took it and scored on a 29-yard field goal. Got themselves a 3-0 lead, but then on the ensuing kickoff, that lead was short-lived as Brandon Kramer went 82 yards with that kickoff to give AW a 7-3 lead, and it stayed that way until late in the second quarter, the 5:34 mark to be exact, as a 44-yard drive ended with a 29-yard quarterback keeper, we should say, by Steve Harvey. As you see, Mr. Kramer hoping to run another kickoff back if he gets the opportunity, and that got us to our 10-7 halftime score. So you are caught up. We are ready to go with third quarter action. Anthony Wayne to receive the second half kickoff from Craig Mossing, and he booms one down. And it's controlled by Matt Persinger at the 8-yard line, and he is going to be swarmed under. He's going to get up to about the 14-yard line is where the Anthony Wayne Generals will get things started.
Well, what happened here, Billy, is when you get the good kick, then you out-kick your blocking coverage people, and there were no blockers to help that young man out.
Chris Piasecki, the first one on the coverage, and also aided very ably by Adam Danhauer. So the first possession of the third quarter will get the Anthony Wayne Generals starting on their own 14-yard line. Seth Holland continues to bark signals for Craig Smith, and he hands off to Brandon Kramer, who gets himself about 3 or 4 hard-earned yards. They'll mark it at about the 16-yard line.
But Brandon's a tough, hard-nosed kid. They're running off tackle. They're pulling some guards. They're trying to get people out in front of him, and he's just a tough, hard-nosed kid. He runs hard.
You know, it's hard to believe, Thomas, the fact that he is a halfback in the Anthony Wayne offense, but he's the leading receiver, not only on the team, obviously, but in the league.
Yeah. Well, and that goes to show you they missed their quarterback tonight, Bill.
So here come the General with some misdirection. And this is Casey Irvin, who gets into the defensive backfield. Good enough for a first down for the Anthony Wayne Generals, as the gentlemen with the sticks are asked to move forward.
Well, Billy, this is a patented Delaware wing tee, wing back trap with a misdirection, and Craig runs this very well. We've seen it numerous times, and when they do run it, they usually run it for huge yardage.
So first down now, ball on the 27-yard line for Anthony Wayne. This is Irvin again. And he's going to get stacked up, and I'll tell you, there's a lot of guys getting bent in different directions, and a fumble on the play, and Springfield has the football. As we said, there were people getting bent a lot of different directions, and somebody from Springfield stripped the football, and the Blue Devils are really in good shape right now as they will start on the 28-yard line. Sean McKenzie, they say he is the one who came up with the football. John McKenzie, the defensive end. You'll see right here, they stuff the Anthony Wayne
It's a
ball
great
carrier.
defensive play, and give the Springfield kid credit, Billy. He ripped it out. You know, it was a tackle and rip all in the same play, and the kids practice that. That's good coaching.
Now a must drive now for the Blue Devils if they want to try to increase their lead. And that time Steve Harvey kept it as usual.
Well, Billy, you know, I'll tell you what, Steve Harvey is very good at. He reminds me of Texas circa 1968 when they're running the wishbone. He does a great job of running the dive option. He makes a nice dive fake and gets outside on the keep, and when he turns it up, he goes hard.
So it's 2nd and 5. Todd Leonard as they switch quarterbacks for Springfield. Here's the big feller, Taylor Taube, putting him up, laying him down, touchdown Springfield! Taylor Taube, 22 yards for the touchdown. Boy, I'll tell you, for a fullback, he really picks him up and lays him down and picks up another touchdown to start the third quarter for the Springfield Blue Devils as they take the Anthony Wayne fumble, turn it around, and score from 22 yards out.
Well, Billy, he's a lot like a dump truck with a full load. You know, once you get him going and get him turned and going downhill, I'll tell you what, he's quick. He brings a pretty nice package.
Well, it started on the 27-yard line and ends up with a 22-yard touchdown run for Taylor Taube, and now Craig Mossing will try to get his third extra point of the night, and you can play official as we'll kick it right into your family room. And the officials will tell you it is good. So with 9:50 to go in the third quarter, a quick strike for the Blue Devils. It's 17-7 Springfield as you see Taylor Taube carry in the mail to give the Blue Devils a 10-point cushion. Boy, I'll tell you, just like that happened in the first half when Brandon Kramer scored on an 82-yard kickoff return really quick right after Springfield got that 3-0 lead. The fumble by Anthony Wayne. Springfield got the ball on the 27-yard line, and 2 plays later, Taylor Taube goes 22 yards for a touchdown.
Well, the dump truck Taylor, I'll tell you what, it was an off-tackle play. They doubled the tackle down and they kicked out the end. And the young man who kicked the end out did a terrific job for Springfield and gave the dump truck the opening he needed and took it into the end zone.
Greg Mossing with another nice kick. Persinger takes it on his 4-yard line. And he is going to be met and dropped at about the 29-yard line. And I'll tell you, we are right above the Springfield bench here from our vantage point at Blue Devil Stadium. And every time Springfield ends up hitting somebody, Thomas, that whole side of blue and red just goes crazy. These kids are fired up. This is pretty much a big part of their season this year. They come in, as we said, 1-3, while Anthony Wayne is at the other end of the spectrum at 3-1. So we talked about it in the pregame show. Springfield's got a great chance to be a spoiler for Anthony Wayne.
Yeah, it's a turnaround game for him, Bill. You know, you get this win, a huge win, and it turns the rest of your season around a little bit.
So the Generals will start on their own 25-yard line. Second possession of the third quarter for them. Here's Holland, a nice pass back. They got a screen set up and some running room for Brandon Kramer, but good pursuit by the Springfield Blue Devils. Nice play right there. Chris Piasecki, the first one there. And I'll tell you, for a defensive tackle, Chris Piasecki does a nice job of trailing the play.
Well, Billy, they make the play action fake. They're sprinting out to the right. Seth does a good job. Now, what Seth has to do on this, Bill, is get his feet set, get that ball over there quicker, and then when he pops the ball to him, he's got a better opportunity to get upfield. The ball had a little too much air on it.
Thanks Steve Harvey as well for kind of slowing down the ball carrier in that particular instance, and then Mr. Piasecki came in for the finishing touches. Here's Mr. Holland. It's a straight quarterback keeper, and he's got some running room into the defensive secondary. He's got one man to beat. He's got a convoy with Brandon Kramer leading the way, but coming up from behind to make a huge tackle for the Springfield Blue Devils. Good hustle right there. Steve Harvey caught him, but he almost took it the distance.
Well, Bill, this was a design run. They had double wide shotgun, and Seth Holland can beat you with his feet. You know, he needs to work a little bit on the passing game, and he probably doesn't get many runs. It's run all the way. They're running double wides. They're spreading them from sideline to sideline. Seth, when he gets into the interior of the Springfield defense, makes a great cut right there, and now he's trying to take it to the house. A great athletic play by Seth.
A 50-yard scamper for Mr. Holland, and now we've got a timeout on the field. It's an official's timeout. And you can listen on our crowd mic down there as the coaches are saying what's going on, and the officials are saying, hey, we got to make sure his knee brace is fixed. So the coach and the referee shake hands, and we were ready to go. But I'll tell you, what a big play right there, and that's what's been going on all night tonight, Thomas. As we said, Springfield comes down in their first possession of the ball game, gets a 29-yard field goal. The ensuing kickoff, Brandon Kramer goes 82 yards. We start the third quarter. Anthony Wayne fumbles. 2 plays on a 27-yard drive turns into a 27-yard touchdown by Taylor Taube, and right away here comes Anthony Wayne with a huge play about the third from scrimmage. Their quarterback Seth Holland goes 50 yards, and they're right back in the ballgame.
Well, Bill, these are 2 well-coached teams that are playing hard tonight, basically, is what you've got.
Now Seth Holland has some trouble. Now he's going to launch it into the end zone. Touchdown! Joe Sainholtz pulls it in. Nice play right there as he went up and battled the Springfield defender and came down with the football and then just fell right into the end zone.
And Billy, there were a couple of great things that happened on that play for Anthony Wayne. When Seth Holland made the play-action fake and sprinted out, first of all, he outran the pursuit that was after him. He turned the Jets on to get that done. Secondly, he put the ball up to give the young man an opportunity to catch it. And thirdly, the young man that caught the ball for Anthony Wayne, what he did, Bill, in the receiving part of it, we call he bodied him up. You know, he bodied him up just like you would in basketball. He checked him out.
Well, the snap for the extra point is going to be a little bit off kilter, so the point goes awry. So with 8:12 to go in the third quarter, Anthony Wayne has come back. Right now they trail the Springfield Blue Devils 17-13. Well, 17-13 is our score right now with 8:12 to go in the third quarter here on TV5 with Tom Cole. I'm Bill Clark. Justin Zenz to kick off, left-footed. And it's going to get down, and Marquis Hayes lets it get by him, but then picks it up on the 18-yard line. Looking for some running room, and he's going to be hog-tied at about the 39-yard line. So that's where Springfield will go to work. But I'll tell you, both of these teams right now with some quick striking offenses and a very slow first half, Thomas. But right now, both offenses are really kicking it into high gear here in the third quarter.
Well, that last touchdown pass was a great play. And as I said, Seth Holland gave the young man, Joe Sainholtz, an opportunity to catch the ball. Joe bodied him up just like a basketball checkout. And Seth put it up, and he caught the ball.
18-yard touchdown pass gets Anthony Wayne now back into the ballgame. They trail 17-13. Hayes in motion, Leonard at quarterback. And the give is to the fullback this time. Number 35 for the Springfield Blue Devils, that's Chad Pabin.
Well, it's double wides with the wing, and all they're doing is running the quick hitter. Again, many of the running plays in this offense are slow developing, so they have to insert the quick hitters to keep the defense off balance, and both sides have them. These are mirrored offenses. They both do a terrific job at running the Delaware wing tee with a variance of formations and styles.
Leonard still at quarterback. This time it's Hayes. Cuts back and is finally tripped up. Well, he ran through a couple tackles, but finally got nailed.
Well, you know what Marquis was trying to do there, Bill, is they're running off tackle left. They're running off tackle left here. Reverse pivot. Taking it back to him off tackle left. You double the tackle down. You kick out the end. If Marquis, he's reading it. He's going to come back all the way to the other side. If he can ever make that turn to get to the other side, that's going to be 6.
Defensive tackle Jordan Pringle on the last tackle. One of the Anthony Wayne Generals there, 6'3", 255-pound junior. 3rd and 1, ball on the 38-yard line. Springfield looking for a first down. And this time Taylor Taube goes nowhere as he is met by the interior of that Anthony Wayne defensive line. Joe Sainholtz, the first one in to make the hit. Got some help from his friends, so that'll make it 4th down. It is going to be a punting situation.
Well, what the dump truck's got to do here, Bill, and I know what he was trying to do. He was trying to get the first down, obviously, but when they had it jammed up, he's just got to square those big shoulders up and burrow in there and try and get it turning sideways. Eliminates a lot of his power.
And we've got flags on the play as both teams are trying to get players on the field. And Chad Mossing was trying to implore his center to give him the football because he knew Anthony Wayne wasn't exactly set up. And now Anthony Wayne is going to get called for illegal participation, and that is going to mean Springfield gets themselves a first down. Good play right there by Craig Mossing.
Those are penalties. Penalties like that, Bill, and as a coach, it keeps you up at night sitting in the backyard by yourself, talking to yourself. Those are tough penalties.
So the Blue Devils back in business. This is Marquis Hayes. Nice downfield blocking, and he's going to be rolled over and under. And he's going to get up to about the 36-yard line before he is corralled, and that's a first down for the Devils.
Well, Bill, this is Delaware wing T with a split, reverse pivot. We're going to run off tackle right. They double the defensive tackle, kick out the end. And, Marquis, I'm telling you, Marquis runs at a little different gear than the other kids down there. Boy, that's nice blocking. That's a great camera angle. See that cut? That's just an instinctive, great cut.
Well, I tell you, when he stops and starts getting twisted around, you look at his ankles and you just wonder why he's not walking on stubs sometimes the way he gets up. They are bending him every which way but Sunday. Tight formation now in that wing T. Leonard still the quarterback. This time Taube runs into his own blocker and fends him off and picks up maybe a couple more yards down to about the 32-yard line.
Now Taylor did the right thing there. He's a hard runner. I like that. They're using him on the quick hitters, the quick dives, the quick hits, and you get the dump truck going straight ahead with a full load. He's tough to stop.
2nd and 6 right now as you see it one more time as he tries to get that dump truck moving downhill.
Yep, there he goes. He gets the front loader going full speed, and he's tough to bring down.
Taube, 10 carries on the night, 57 yards so far. Here's Marquis Hayes looking to get outside, and he's going to be dragged down. Good defense right there. Alex Sherman from his defensive end position, 6'4", 195 pounds.
Well, Bill, they like the boom to the short side of the field, and again, they're pulling the guard, they're doubling the defensive tackle down, they're kicking out the end and pulling the guard, and Marquis just is running at a different gear than a lot of the other kids in the field.
There you see, we talked about the ankles of Mr. Hayes, and I tell you, they get a lot of work during a high school football game. Thanks, guys. Great shot. Now Hayes gets it again, going left side, using those ankles, cuts back, and he's going in. Touchdown, Springfield. 28-yard scamper for Marquis Hayes. His first touchdown of the night, and that's a huge play right there for the Springfield Blue Devils as Marquis Hayes dances in the end zone from 23 yards out.
Well, Billy, what Marquis is doing, they're running the boom to the left, they're doubling down the tackle, and they're kicking out the end. Marquis, nice block. Marquis finds a hole, good lead, another good block. Now watch him cut against the grain. Right there, a high school kid, they're not going to tackle somebody making that kind of 90-degree cut against the grain with that kind of speed. That's just great running.
61-yard drive ends with a 23-yard Marquis Hayes touchdown run, and Craig Mossing dots the I with the extra point. So just like that, after Anthony Wayne scores, the Blue Devils come back and pick up 7 on their own. So with 4:11 to go in the third quarter here on TV5, it's Springfield 24, Anthony Wayne 13, as you see Mr. Hayes doing what he does best, and it ends up with another touchdown for the Blue and Red. I'm not sure, Thomas, but all of a sudden I think we're watching a hockey game. The way the score is going back and forth.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, oh man. These kids are going to rest well tonight. There's no doubt about it.
Well, Bill, give the offensive lines credit and the offensive coordinators. They run the ball very creatively.
And Persinger again picks it up at about his 9-yard line. Looking for some running room, and again gets it out to about the 30-yard line. So again, that's where Anthony Wayne will get things started on their own 30-yard line. So keep an eye on number 10. We talked about it. If you are an Anthony Wayne football fan and might wonder where Jason Sadowski has been all night, well, he suffered a mild concussion, as we are told by Coach Craig Smith, in last week's win at Perrysburg, 23-7 over the Yellow Jackets, and the coaches, and rightly so, weren't going to take any chances with him. He is obviously their star quarterback, but I'll tell you, Seth Holland is making them forget about Jason Sadowski tonight. He is having himself a great ball game, and this time, though, the ball goes right through his hands. It's loose, but Anthony Wayne is going to come up with the football. Good hustle right there. Casey Irvine falls on the football to save it for the moment for the Anthony Wayne Generals. I don't think I jinxed Mr. Holman there, but I think he kind of took his eye off.
Yeah, you know, that's what Seth did. It was a little off to his right, and Seth took a peek, took a little peek at the running back that he was going to hand the ball off to, and he lost control of it.
So they're going to lose 11 yards on that particular play, so it's 2nd and 21. The ball back now on the 19-yard line of AW. And here comes Mr. Holland trying to make it up himself, and he's going to get tackled by the interior portion of that Springfield Blue Devil defense. Mike Weaver on the tackle with assist from a couple of his friends.
I'm sorry, but those plays are tough to pick up that kind of yardage, Billy, because what they're really doing is they're running double wides with the shotgun, and they're making no pretense of even attempting to throw the ball there. That was run all the way. I think they might be a little bit better off in that case occasionally to shotgun with a double wide, have Seth take 2 steps back as if he's surveying the field, run people off, and then let him pick the crease and go.
We did have a flag on that play. It was a false start against the Anthony Wayne Generals, and Phil DeMars and his staff decided to decline the penalty. Talking to Craig Smith before the ball game, and when he told me he wasn't sure that Jason Sadowski was going to play, I said, well, what does that do to your offense? I mean, the kid has thrown for over 1,400 yards, and he says, well, we're going to try to spread things out a little bit more than we may normally do when Jason's not in the ball game. So can you see them doing that, and it's not obviously as effective as Coach Smith would like it to be?
Well, they're spreading them out, and they're using Seth's ability to run, but there's a point in time when, as this game clicks along, Bill, that they are going to have to throw the football downfield.
Well, they are right there. Here's Seth Holden airing it out, but he's going to overshoot his intended target. And right there on the coverage for the Springfield Blue Devils, toe to toe.
But you know what, Bill? Quite honestly, Seth, it's the first time I've seen him tonight really stand back there, set his feet, step up, deliver the football downfield. And there was a lot on that ball, so that shows you that he can do it. And they'll look to do a little bit more of that as this game progresses.
Another punt for Joe Sainholtz. And again, he is knocking into the shadow of his own goalpost. Just barely gets that one away. Might even got a little bit of that football. Good rush by big Mike Weaver. And the ball is going to be downed at the Anthony Wayne 40-yard line. So again, Springfield is getting themselves in great field position with the exception of the opening kick of the third quarter, Thomas. I think every time Springfield's had the football in the second half, they have started in Anthony Wayne territory.
Well, Billy, this drive right here could be a screen door drive for Springfield. If they get in here, they close the screen door possibly on the game.
So a big defensive series for the Anthony Wayne Generals. Steve Harvey back in as they continue to play musical quarterbacks. Marquis Hayes almost has the ball ripped away. He stood up and dropped at about the 37-yard line. First one in for the Anthony Wayne Generals on that particular play.
I'll tell you what, they really like running to the short side here, to the short side of the field. They're running off tackle to our immediate right, and that time Anthony Wayne closed the hole down.
I'd like to tell you who made that tackle by Anthony Wayne, but number 35 is not on the roster we were given by the school. 19 carries, 152 yards for number 6. And this time now he gets a rest as Chad Pabin gets the call. As we reminded you during halftime, next week we're going over to the University of Toledo Glass Bowl, which could be one of the biggest games of the season as the St. Francis Knights take on the Central Catholic Fighting Irish. Central Catholic going into the ball game tonight 6-0, or 7-0, I beg your pardon, against the Start Spartans. The St. Francis Knights 6-1. And you know that Dick Cromwell and Greg Dempsey will have those teams ready to go. A ton of computer points and positioning will be available in that particular ball game. This is Steve Harvey trying to get around the right end, and he's going to be dragged down. Good defense right there, number 87 for the Anthony Wayne Generals, Charlie Rose on the tackle.
Well, I tell you what, Steve does this very well. It's twins with an even backfield. He fakes the dive and takes it on an option keep. And Steve's got quick feet and he's strong. He does a real nice job with that. Again, same thing, a dive option. Steve turns the corner, gets north-south, good block on the outside by the wideout. It's a nice play.
Well, what this also does, Thomas, is keeping it on the ground like this, the clock continues to move.
Well, that's exactly right, Bill. The clock becomes as much your opponent, as Springfield is for Anthony Wayne. And you know what Springfield's doing very well here, Coach DeMars deserves a lot of credit. That's just a hit. Just a quick hitter off the tackle hole, and they're changing the pace on this. They have slower developing running plays out of the wing tee, then they do the dive option, the quick hit, and I think they've got Anthony Wayne off balance defensively.
Chad Payman on the last carry gets a rest now as Taylor Taube returns with the next play for the Springfield Blue Devils. And here comes Todd Leonard rolling left, looking into the end zone, off the hands. Tough break right there. Great pass, but just off the hands of Steve Harvey, so quarterback to quarterback, but Steve couldn't come up with the football. Boy, I'll tell you, what a great opportunity right there for the Springfield Blue Devils.
Well, you can't really draw this up a whole lot better. This is a great throw, and I'll tell you the truth, the kind of, Steve hits his head off it right at the end, but the kind of athlete Steve is, he catches that, 19 out of 20 times. It's a great throw.
Third down, 4 yards to go. The ball on the 20-yard line of the Anthony Wayne Generals. Marquis Hayes gets the call, looking to get into the defensive backfield, and doesn't get to the goal line, but he does get another first down for the Springfield Blue Devils as he continues to pile up yardage tonight.
Well, Billy, they're just running off. They're running off tackle on the right side. And let's give the right side of that Springfield offensive line, boy, that's a nice block, credit. They have just done a yeoman's job. And again, Marquis is a young man who just has a different gear. He has a quicker gear out there than a lot of the other kids.
Well, the third quarter has come to an end, but we've also got a flag on the play, so it hasn't come to an end. I beg your pardon. And we will wait for the signal by the referee. And it's a penalty that really hurts the Springfield Blue Devils, backs them way back now. It's 3rd and 16, and the clock now runs. So this may be the last play of the third quarter unless we have an incomplete pass or a defensive penalty. Ball's on the 32-yard line of Anthony Wayne. Todd Leonard calling signals. Rolling right. Now keeps it, and he's going to be tripped up. Nice defense right there by the Anthony Wayne Generals. Give credit on that tackle to number 52, Jordan Pingle, as he got a shoelace. And that is going to end our third quarter of play. The Springfield Blue Devils lead the Anthony Wayne Generals 24-13. We're back with fourth quarter action right after this on TV5.
Friday Night Football is brought to you by The Andersons, more for your home. Cellular Central, your Verizon Wireless Platinum agent. The Alliance of Construction Professionals, build your future with us. Banner Mattress and Furniture. Subway and your local Subway sandwich shops. Cricket Comfortable Wireless, another leap innovation. Kuzno's Restaurants, great dining. TAS Electronics.
Well, the fourth quarter just underway as the Springfield Blue Devils went forth and tried a long play, but it did not go long. So the Anthony Wayne Generals will take over on downs as they get the ball on their own 29-yard line to get things started here in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, Billy, they ran what really is a double reverse out of the wing tee, and it's a creative call, nice play. It was kind of slow developing.
Double reverse. This is Casey Irvine, but he's going to be snagged in the backfield, maybe possibly a loss of a yard on that particular play.
You know what's interesting, Billy, is this is the same play that Springfield just ran. You know, trying to pick it up on 4th down. You talk about two offenses mirroring each other all night long. It's really been an interesting to watch from a fan standpoint, and the different ways that both these wing T teams run the football.
3-1, the Anthony Wayne Generals coming into the ball game. 1-3 for the Springfield Blue Devils, but we're talking upset here. If the Springfield defense can hang on, they lead it in the 4th quarter, 24-13. Here's a quick screen to the right, but it's not going to go anywhere. Matt Bersinger, the receiver, but it's snuffed out nicely by the Springfield Blue Devils.
Well, Billy, what they did here is you've got double wides out of the shotgun, and they're trying to run a little. This is your bubble screen, the outside, but it's a little different. This one's designed to go inside, Bill. It's that inside seam screen. But again, Springfield well schooled. That's a tape study. They had that scouted out.
So 3rd down and 10, the ball on the 29-yard line of Anthony Wayne as Holland goes back in the shotgun. 4 receivers in the pattern. He's going to lay one out, but he's going to overshoot everybody. He just kind of threw that. Basically, no one was in the neighborhood at all, and so it falls harmlessly to the Blue Devil Stadium turf. And that'll bring up a kicking situation again for the Anthony Wayne Generals.
You know what it is, Bill? Seth is a terrific athlete. He's a great runner. What he needs to get, Billy, are repetitions. He obviously he hasn't gotten many repetitions throwing the football this year. And when you do get that, you get more comfortable because he's an outstanding athlete. He just isn't real comfortable standing back there throwing the football. He doesn't get his feet set, and he rushes a lot of his throws, but Coach Craig will fix that and get him straightened out.
Sainholt's kick very, very low, but it gets a nice Anthony Wayne bounce, and he's going to bounce an extra 25 yards.
Geez, Bill, that looked like a Tom Fitzgerald 4-iron out of Ottawa Park, for guys' sake.
Slam that baby right down and hope it skips over the pond there at Ottawa Park. But a nice Anthony Wayne bounce. So the Springfield Blue Devils will go to work on their own 35-yard line. They lead it in the ballgame 24-13. As you see Seth Holland getting a conversation being held with one of the Anthony Wayne coaches. Good crowd on hand, as we mentioned. I'll tell you, when you do Northern Lakes League sports, Thomas, you always have a great following from both schools.
Yeah, this is a wonderful facility.
So this is a big series for Springfield, as Tom Cole said. If they can get one more score on the ball, on the scoreboard, we should say, it might just put a nail in the coffin. That's one of the things, Tom, we did an Anthony Wayne game last year, and it was one of those deals where they did very well. I think they played Perrysburg, and the wing T did very well. But if you're behind with the wing team, it's not an offense that you want to use to catch up with.
No, it's a tougher deal, and especially without your quarterback, Bill. I mean, you know, that's again, Seth's a great athlete. He's done a great job tonight. He can beat you with his feet, but I don't know if he's at the stage where he can beat you with his arm.
Todd Leonard in at quarterback for Springfield. Clock continues to run, 9.5 minutes to go in the ball game. And now Leonard's going to keep it himself, but nice play right there from his defensive back position. Brandon Kramer came up and put the hit on Mr. Leonard, and he is going to lose a couple yards on that particular play.
Well, you know what? Todd made the right read. It was a speed option, and the crease was there. It's a speed option. By speed option, I mean you come straight down the line of scrimmage and the quarterback reads the crease, gets up inside. Todd made the right read. I just think that at this point in time, Steve Harvey's a little bigger and a little stronger. If you want to run that play, he might be the guy that you'd want to have in there for that play.
3rd and 9, ball on the 35-yard line. Leonard's going to keep it. He's got an open man. That's Mike Weaver, the tight end, and he's going to get drilled as soon as he catches it. Oh, and I'll tell you, that is not a very good spot right there. He caught the ball at about the 46-yard line and got knocked back, and you'll see right here, that is not a very good spot. And now the official on the other side of the field is telling them they need to move it up. See if we can see it here. But you can see he catches the ball right there, 46-yard line. Yeah. They got to move that football up at least a yard or two.
They're going to get it right. There you go. You know what, Billy? That's a sign of a great crew when one realizes that, okay, hey, we missed this. Let's huddle. Let's get it straight. Let's get it called. I like that. That's a sign of a mature, excellent crew.
Well, they always say it's a game of inches, so you know that Springfield was kind of upset when they lost that 1.5 yards, but a nice pass and catch by Mike Weaver right there, the tight end from Todd Leonard, and the Blue Devils are still in business. They're approaching the midfield stripe, 1st and 10. They still have the ball on their own 45-yard line, and now Marquis Hayes spinning away from trouble, but he's going to get buried and lost for about 5 yards on that particular play. The Anthony Wayne Generals had that one snuffed out very well.
Well, Bill, you can only run off tackle so many times tonight. They've had Marquis off that tackle slot so many times that I think Anthony Wayne finally constricted and closed the hole up. There really wasn't anything there. Here they go. They're running off tackle, and boy, it's just closed down.
And the first man there for Anthony Wayne to get things started, Daniel Hytel. Now they pitch it back to Taube, but again, the defense has snuffed it out. Nice play by Anthony Wayne right there. First one to get there.
Well, you know, they're trying to run the speed option and get it to the dump truck, and you know, that's tough to ask him to turn that corner on the speed option.
Jordan Ulrich on the tackle. Boy, he had that called big time. And another loss for the Springfield Blue Devils. So right now they're going in the wrong direction. 7:15 and running here in the 4th quarter. They lead it by 11, 24-13 over the Anthony Wayne Generals. 3rd and 22. And Hayes has the football, and everybody in the place knew he was going to get it. And now it will bring up a punting situation.
Well,
for the Blue Devils.
I'm sorry. The drive that's coming up for Anthony Wayne, this is a game time for them, Bill. They have to catch this punt, maybe get a little bit of a return, and really put together a drive to give themselves an opportunity to win this ball game. If they don't get a drive here and get in the end zone, it's going to be real tough.
Craig Mossing. And I'm sure I've called him Chad a couple times tonight. That's one of his older brothers, as Matt Bersinger gets through the first line of defense, but holding on for dear life and coming up with a big tackle right there for the Springfield Blue Devils, number 62. That's Mike BEKIER, and we've got an injured general on the field. That's Aaron Hartman, the starting middle guard. See if we can see it on the replay right here, what happened. Aaron Hartman, we mentioned that already, and you can see right there, it looks like he might have landed.
Yeah, he got hit from the side on his knee, Bill, and he had planted and kind of took a helmet blow to the knee on the side. Hopefully his knee's all right.
The Springfield Athletic Department would like to thank the following local companies for their support of Blue Devil Athletics: Spring Meadows Extended Care Facility, the Astor House at Spring Meadows, and Yoder Machinery. We'll see if we can see it again a little from a different angle.
Yep. Yeah, see what happens, Bill, is his leg was pretty straight up and down and planted, and he got the helmet into the side of the knee.
Well, we will hope that it is not a serious injury. Next week, we will pack up from Holland, Ohio, and move over to Bancroft Street. The University of Toledo Glass Bowl will be our site as the St. Francis Knights and the Central Catholic Fighting Irish do battle in one of the biggest rivalries in Northwest Ohio, the battle for the Irish Knight. You will see it next Friday night, starting at 11:30, right here on TV5. Well, as they continue to work on Aaron Hartman, will go through the scoring for you if you've just joined us. The game started on the first drive for the Springfield Blue Devils, and it ended with a 29-yard field goal from Craig Mossing to give the Springfield Blue Devils a 3-0 lead. But then on the ensuing kickoff, Brandon Kramer took it 82 yards for a touchdown, and just like that, Anthony Wayne got back on top, 7-3. Then with 5:34 to go in the second quarter, a 44-yard drive was culminated with a 23-yard run by Steve Harvey to make it 10-7, and that was our halftime score. In the third quarter, Anthony Wayne had the football. They fumbled, and it was recovered on the Anthony Wayne 27-yard line, and then 2 plays later, Taylor Taube went 22 yards for a touchdown to make it 17-7. but then Anthony Wayne came right back on their next possession, and an 18-yard touchdown pass from Seth Holland to Joe Sainholtz made it 17-13 as the extra point was no good, as the crowd applauds Mr. Hartman as he is going to be helped off the field, but it's good to see him up and at least hopping off the field. And just moments ago, a 61-yard drive on the 4:11 mark in the third quarter ended a 61-yard drive with a 23-yard TD run by Marquis Hayes, and that got us to our current score, as you see right there on your television screen, 24-13 with 6:15 to go. And this is, as Tom Cole said, is going to be the drive of the game for the Anthony Wayne Generals if they're going to get back into this ball game. Seth Holland in the shotgun. Right over the middle, he's got a receiver. This is Brandon Kramer. You talk about a quick strike offense. Kramer busts a couple tackles, and it's a touchdown. Brandon Kramer, a 47-yard touchdown run and catch.
Well, Bill, a couple of things here, and Seth Holman in the shotgun, double wide. Now watch him set his feet and step forward and deliver the football. Great throw, skinny post. And we've seen this young man before. We talked about him as the Paul Horning of Anthony Wayne, a guy who runs, catches, throws, pretty much does it all, and he's showing us that tonight. But Seth, boy, I'd say that's a great camera angle, guys. It was the first time tonight that he really stood tall in the pocket, set his feet, stepped forward and delivered the ball. Skinny post, touchdown, great effort.
Well, coming into the ball game, Seth Holland was not very proficient as far as passing because he hadn't had that many opportunities with Jason Sadowski around. But boy, I tell you, he has made the most of his opportunity to start tonight, and now the Generals are going to try for two. Holland rolls to the short side of the field and basically throws it out of bounds, out of the reach of Matt Persinger. So, with 6:03 to go, the Anthony Wayne Generals are not going quietly, as you see a 47-yard touchdown catch and run from Seth Holland to Brandon Kramer. We're back with more from Springfield. It's 24-19, Devils over the Generals. All right, Thomas, I'll ask you. We were talking about it off camera, and I'm sure there might be some people in our audience wondering, do you squib this thing or do you put them way down?
No, I wouldn't, Bill. I'd kick it. I'd kick it as deep as I can, make the tackle, try and get a 3 and out, and get good field position.
Well, Justin Zenz, I beg your pardon, sends it down the field, and it's corralled at the 20-yard line. The wall is there for Marquis Hayes, and he's going to get up to about the 42-yard line before he's dragged down. I'll tell you, talk about the blue wall. Man, oh man, Marquis Hayes could have ducked behind that for a week and not be found. Should be interesting right here, because now Springfield, they have had ground control all night long, and they need to do it right now. Seth Holland, 7 passes for 78 yards, including that 47-yard TD pass just moments ago to Brandon Kramer, who picked up his second touchdown of the night. So things are going to get started on the 41-yard line of Springfield. They lead at 24-19. This is Taylor Taube holding on to the football for dear life, but he's going to pick up about 4 yards on that carry.
Well, TNT got a quick hitter off tackle, and again, when he gets his shoulder square and gets it going forward, he's a strong kid. He runs real well.
Ball control is what Springfield is looking for right here. They need a couple first downs and keep that clock rolling. It was 10-7 at halftime, but the offenses of both teams have come alive here in the second half. This is Hayes. Ooh, and he has stood up. Joe Sainholtz comes in from his defensive back position after the tackle was first started by number 62, Jordan Ulrich.
Billy, that was Delaware wing T with a split and just ran a boom to the short side. The reverse pivot, give it to Marquis, off tackle on the left side. Again, double the defensive tackle, kick out the end as a physical hit.
Kozlik and Mossing spread to the right. But they come the other way to Taylor Taube, who fights his way forward. So that's going to make it 4th down, and see if this is a punting situation. I got to believe they're going to kick the football here, Thomas.
Well, gosh, I think you have to, Bill. I think you have to kick it and make Anthony Wayne certainly go a lot further than get the ball at the 50-yard line. You have to do that. 3 and out is not what Phil DeMars was hoping for on that particular offensive set, but Craig Mossing is back. I'm sure Anthony Wayne is coming for this football. Bobbled the snaps, but Craig gets it off, and it looks like it's going to bounce away. They're saying it hit one of the Anthony Wayne Generals, and I'll tell you, Charlie Rose shouldn't have been anywhere near that football, but he was. But luckily, it did not hit him, so Anthony Wayne will take over on their own 11-yard line, trailing 24-19. More from Springfield after this timeout on TV5. So here we go. Seth Holland will start things from his own 11-yard line in the shotgun, and he hands it off to his fullback, Verboski, who will plow forward for about a yard there. Don't forget to stay with us for our post-game show. We'll have our Cousineau's MVP and our Subway Impact Player of the game as well. We also, speaking of food, want to thank everybody up here in the press box here at Springfield. I'll tell you, we could have eaten for a month here, Thomas. You know those games they talk about not having an announcer talk? That's what we should have done tonight, just sat back and eaten all night. The guys up in the box up in Springfield are all pro, all state, all city. They know how to do a football game.
And for some of the wives, too, because I know some of the guys can't cook that well, so the wives had to help out. Here's Holland. He's going across the middle again to Kramer. And here, oh, the official pulled it out. The side judge had his hanky out and tucked it back in to his pants as the back judge said, no, I didn't see anything. And I'll tell you, the Anthony Wayne coaching staff is livid.
Well, Billy, he looked like he had his hand in his pocket. He looked like he was trying to get it out of the holster. He couldn't get the flag out, but you know what Anthony Wayne, a play they could get here, Bill, is they went back to the skinny post again. If they show the skinny post and break it back to the corner, I think they'd have a guy running free in the secondary.
Big play for the Springfield defense and the Anthony Wayne offense, but before we get it off, we've got a whistle on the field. And now they want to make sure they've got the ball spotted, so they move it back a half yard. So it's 3rd down and now 9.5 yards to go. The ball's on the 12-yard line. Huge play for Anthony Wayne in this ball game. They trail 24-19. Holland's going to try the quarterback sneak up the middle. He's got the first down in running room, and he is going to be nailed in the defensive backfield. Marquis Hayes. Woo! Boy, he met the irresistible force right there and the immovable object right there. Well, Mr. Holland will feel that one for a couple days.
Bill, this is run all the way, and is really what it is a lead draw for the quarterback. And you have to admire the competitive. Well, that's a great hit by Marquis. You know, if you look up tackle in the dictionary, I think the hit right here would
qualify.
Would say tackle. Yeah, nice tackle, Marquis.
It's a first down. And Holland keeps the football. He's looking down. He's got a receiver. This is Verboski. He catches the football. Good enough for a first down, or very close as they stop the clock.
Bill, you have to admire the Anthony Wayne quarterback, Seth Holland, and his competitiveness in the last couple of drives. You can tell that he's not a rhythm thrower because he hasn't gotten that many repetitions back there, but he is a competitive kid, and he's really marshaling this team downfield.
Well, this drive started on the Anthony Wayne 11. It is now up to the Anthony Wayne 41-yard line with 2:44 to go in the ball game. A 24-19 lead for the Springfield Blue Devils. Anthony Wayne's only lead in the ball game was at 7-3, and that was way back in the first quarter after Brandon Kramer returned a kickoff 82 yards after the Springfield Blue Devils got on the scoreboard first with a 29-yard Craig Mossing field goal.
Well, Bill, you know, I think what Springfield needs to look at here is you know, sometimes you get in the prevent, and you know what the prevents victory sometimes. I think maybe maybe Dave Conley, their excellent defensive coordinator, needs to come after Seth Holland and try and get a sack or two and put some pressure on him. The prevent can prevent victory very often.
Well, I'm not sure what Phil DeMars is talking about, but now the official walks away and finally signals the Springfield Blue Devils for a timeout. Craig Smith from Anthony Wayne was also chatting with the official as well. Seth Holland, 6 rushes tonight, Thomas, 117 yards.
Yeah, he's an outstanding athlete. He's very competitive. He's a great leader, and he's done a terrific job tonight. What Springfield has got to realize, Bill, is they're going to get a steady dose of this. They're going to get double wides and shotgun. They're spreading them out. They're giving Seth an opportunity to run the field and also throw the football. I think Springfield needs to bring somebody off the corners and blitz this spread, because they don't have people to pick up people. That's the weakness of the spread, and I think if you bring some people, it would be more difficult for Seth.
Well, both teams have had their say. 2:44 to go. It's 1st and 10. The ball is on the 41-yard line of the Anthony Wayne Generals. They trail it 24-19. Holland looking to pass, gets through the first part of the defense, but there's Mike Weaver to greet him as he gets back just past the line of scrimmage, maybe picking up a half a yard to make it 2nd down.
Well, you know, they're getting to him. They got after him a little more aggressively here. Seth really doesn't have much of an opportunity here to do much. I think, you know, to break the rhythm of this, you've got to bring some people and come after him.
Second and 10, ball remains on the 41-yard line. Holland looking, now he's going to toss it out. He's got a receiver, this is Persinger. He'll catch the football, but he'll drop it on his knee. So he goes down on his knee, and that immediately ends the play in high school football.
I'll tell you what, Bill, you got to give this young man credit. He's got somebody right in his face, right there, good pressure, and he still gets it out and finds the receiver. They said he was down on the spot.
Good call. And we've got another timeout. This time Anthony Wayne is the one that'll burn one. Matt Persinger not only handling the ball from a receiver standpoint, but also bringing things down on the kickoff and punt returns as well, as Craig Smith checking things out with his offense.
Bill, I'll tell you,
2 minutes to play.
I'm sorry. I'll tell you, the spread has caused Springfield a lot of problems in the 4th quarter. You know, they're spreading Springfield out defensively from sideline to sideline, double wides, shotgun, and what it's doing is is creating running and throwing lanes for Seth Holland to hurt Springfield. He's hurting him with his feet, and he's hurting him with his arm, and it's all come off of spreading the Springfield defense from sideline to sideline. And I think a way to break that rhythm and attack the spread is you got to bring somebody off the corner to disrupt the rhythm of this spread.
Well, Brandon Kramer is split to the right. He's already caught one skinny post for a 47-yard touchdown, and he's in position to do it again. The ball on the 48-yard line, 3rd and 2. Holland's got the first down and much more as he gets into Springfield territory and is dragged down at the 36-yard line.
Well, Bill, it's more what we talked about. What they're doing is they're running double wides with the shotgun. This is run all the way. This is a lead draw to the quarterback, essentially. It all is with a lead blocker. And Seth Holland's proven that he can beat you with his feet. He's a tough kid, tough competitor. If they stay in this, they've got to bring somebody off the corner and change the rhythm of this thing.
Well, Seth Holland is a junior. He's replacing tonight Jason Sadowski, who is also a junior. So the quarterback chores at Anthony Wayne are good for a pretty good time. Holland's going to try to get it all. He's got a receiver, and it's picked off. No, they say he was. Now they're going to see if he was in bounds, and they're going to check. They'll check it over. You'll see it yourself. I think it's an interception. No, they say he was out of bounds. Well, I'll tell you, I'd like to see that again. Larry, if you can wind that up in the truck, I would love to see that again.
Well,
now that was the time the back judge made the call, and I think the sideline judge had a better view of it.
Yeah, I don't know. We have to see this run back, and it's tough. But what they did is they got in Seth's face.
Well, we'll see it right here. You can be the official. Now, he's got to have 1 foot in bounds. That's the key. Now, if we can get down to his feet, he's got control of the football. There's no doubt about that. And his foot is, he's in. That's an interception.
Yeah.
That's not even close.
Yeah.
That's a bad call.
Yeah.
That's a bad call. Now we got to go back and play defense, though, and the Springfield Blue Devil defense is up to the call. Nice play right there. Ric Gonzales, the captain of the defense, said, not on my watch, a 5'9", 180-pound junior. They call him Gonzo, #1 tackler for the Springfield Blue Devils, and that right there was a huge tackle for the blue and red.
Billy, we're seeing a great high school football game tonight. This has been terrific.
Well, you know, you don't want to see a game hinge on a call by an official, but I don't understand why the back judge made that call when the line or the sideline judge was looking right at it, and he was clearly in bounds.
Yeah. Well, you know, you get different angles. It happens fast. At least, you know, they talk to one another, and, you know, that's part of football. I mean, some you get right and some you don't, and you just have to play over it. What Springfield needs to do here, Bill, is they need to, again, get pressure on Seth Holland. And like, if you get pressure on him, he'll put one up like he did over there and almost make the interception. But if they don't put pressure on him, Bill, he's going to stand back there and find somebody, or he's going to take off and beat you with his feet.
Well, we probably should give credit where credit is due, as that was Jon Gorny with that apparent interception that was called no good. So the defense has to come back to work. Ric Gonzales made a great tackle before. Now they dump it down, and this one is almost intercepted. Deshaun Robinson almost picked that one off. 5'9", 160-pound senior, and that definitely would have closed the door right there. So now that makes it 4th and 10, the ball on the 37-yard line of the Springfield Blue Devils, and another big play for the AW offense.
Well, really, this is the game, Bill, quite honestly. And that last pattern that Anthony Wayne ran, there had to be a miscommunication there because there were 2 people within 5 yards, and that allowed the Springfield fella to really get in between and cover both. So this is the play of the game right here, Bill.
Well, the fans on both sides here at Springfield Blue Devil Stadium on their feet, encouraging their respective defense and offense. Holland's got trips to the left and trips to the right. And we've got a whistle before the snap. And Springfield called a timeout before the snap. Okay.
Well,
why?
That's all right. You know, if you didn't like the lineup, you didn't like what you saw, you know, I'd rather get it right. You want to take your best shot here defensively, Bill. You don't want to say, hey, we were lined up wrong, we didn't like but we let it go. Take the time out, get it right, and put yourself in the best position you can. Put your kids in the best position you can to win the ball game. I think Springfield needs to do a combination of things here, Bill. They need to obviously, you know, be in a semi-prevent, but I'm saying you got to bring some pressure on Seth. If you don't, and you let him sit back there, he'll find somebody in a skinny post, or he'll find somebody on a corner, or he'll beat you with his feet. You got to put some pressure on him.
Do you force him to go up the middle? Where does the pressure have to come from? The middle or from the side?
It doesn't make any, I'd bring somebody off the corner, but it doesn't make any difference, Bill, as long as you change the rhythm and the tempo of what he's doing. But you can't drop everybody off and let him sit there, you know, for half an hour and find somebody on a post.
Springfield Athletic Department says thanks to the following companies for their support of Blue Devil Athletics: the Spring Meadows Extended Care Facility, the Astor House at Spring Meadows, and Yoder Machinery. As the defense for Springfield encouraging their side to make some noise while the Anthony Wayne fans are trying to do the same for their offense. It's 4th and 10, a minute and 11 to go in the ball game. 24-19, the Generals on the short end as Holland rolls left. He's looking, he dumps it down, he's got a receiver. Brandon Kramer catches the football, runs out of bounds. It's a first down for the Generals on the 20-yard line of the Springfield Blue Devils.
Well, give Anthony Wayne credit, Bill. It was a great offensive call. They changed the rhythm and the tempo. They ran just a basic sprint out, and I don't think Springfield was anticipating that. And he was wide open on a turnout.
Boy, how big will that possible interception called not an interception be if Anthony Wayne comes down and scores at this particular junction?
Well, you know, that's football, Bill, and, you know, people make mistakes, and you got to play over it.
Ball on the 20-yard line, 1st and 10, Holland rolling right, looking downfield, being pursued by Weaver. He misses him, he gets the ball off, and it's not complete. He was trying for his favorite receiver, Brandon Kramer. As we mentioned, Kramer comes in as the leading receiver in the Northern Lakes League, coming in 23 receptions for 538 yards and a touchdown. He added to his touchdown catches tonight as he grabbed a 47-yarder from that man right there.
Well, Billy, Anthony Wayne ran the same play. They just ran for the first down. They ran it to the wide side now. Sprint out right. You're going to see it in the screen. Nice camera angle, guys. The young man for Springfield, number 9, Bill, and you're the man with the supercharts. He caused the rhythm of that play to be off because he didn't let the young man get outside and get leverage.
Back to live action we go. It's 2nd and 10 on the 20, under a minute to play. Here's that skinny post, and this one's short.
Well, Billy, you called it the skinny post, and I'm sure the guys upstairs are going to look at that, and they've run the skinny post effectively a few times a night. If they fake that skinny post and look outside to the fade man was wide open.
Brandon Kramer looking for some help from the gentleman in the striped shirts, but that pass was underthrown by Seth Holland. Boy, what a ball game he is having. He was not even supposed to start tonight. It was a game-time decision to not start Jason Sadowski, the leading quarterback in the Northern Lakes League, and Seth Holden, the understudy, also a junior. He has come way up from his understudy status, and he is having himself a great ball game, and he is very close to getting the Anthony Wayne Generals all the way back in this ball game as he gets out of trouble, throws it into the end zone. It's knocked out of bounds. Great defensive play by the Springfield Blue Devils to knock that one away.
And again, Bill, you got to give me you got the name. You got to give me the number 9 for Springfield, Billy.
Number 9, that's Mike Weaver.
Mike Weaver, that's the second time what Mike's done as you watch. Now Mike keeps fighting outside contain. You see how he's trying to break the rhythm of that pass up? That's a great play by Mike. And then you're going to see in the back of the end zone, Billy, 2 Springfield guys down there. That was an uncatchable ball. They were in good position.
Steve Harvey was one, and unfortunately I did not get the number of the second one on that particular play, but they had that particular play mapped out big time and covered as Anthony Wayne calls a timeout. They've got one play left in their book right now. It's 4th and 10. The ball's on the 20-yard line, so obviously they've got time to get a first down, Thomas.
Well, Bill, we said it's the play of the game. Now this is the second time we said it's the play of the game, so I guess this is the real play of the game. But I think what you're looking at for Anthony Wayne is that they'll be in the double wides, Bill. They'll be in the shotgun, and they've got 2 choices. They've got A, to look for the skinny post again, or somebody on the outside to run a post influence and turn out to the corner. I think could be a nice play. They run slant, they run the slant post, turn it out to the corner. There could be somebody wide open.
Well, Craig Smith checking out his offensive options, and the defensive coordinator for the Springfield Blue Devils making sure that they got their ducks in a row as well.
And Billy, that's probably going to come to our wide side here. We've got the 2 wides to our side. You're going to probably get the look of the shotgun, the skinny post to our wide side, and a slant corner.
4th and 10, the ball on the 20-yard line. 47 seconds to go. Holland back to pass. He's going in the end zone for that post pattern, and it's going to drop incomplete, and Springfield will take over on downs on their own 20-yard line. Great defensive play right there by the Springfield Blue Devils. Paul Holland put it into the end zone, but unfortunately a little too far for anybody to come down with it, and the Blue Devils will take over on downs.
Well, Billy, they tried to get the slant corner that we talked about in the corner of the end zone, and it just wasn't there. Great coverage by the Springfield defensive backs. They did an excellent job, and it just wasn't there.
Back on the coverage, Jon Gorny and, of course, Marquis Hayes. And coming into this ball game, 2 of the leading tacklers for Springfield were their defensive backs. And when your defensive backs are your leading tacklers, you got problems on the defense. But tonight, that defense came up big. Mike Weaver, you mentioned him a couple times, Thomas, from his defensive end position. But Chris Piasekki's been big all night. Nick Johnson's been big. Sean McKenzie has been big. Ric Gonzales came in with that huge hit a little bit earlier in this particular series. Vashawn Robinson busted up a play, almost intercepted the football. Taube even plays a little bit of defense. Jon Gorny's done a great job. Steve Harvey in the defensive backfield. You can name everybody because the defense for Springfield came up huge tonight. As you see Jon Gorny right there, he was back on that call, on that defensive play. He was the one that intercepted that very questionable call, but looks like that call is not going to hurt the Springfield Blue Devils, as they are going to pull the upset unless something tragic happens right here with 41 seconds to go.
Well, Billy, it's just going to be church time here. You know, you've just got to kneel down, and, you know, I wouldn't even risk
the exchanges. Just let the quarterback keep the ball, and you're good to go.
Now the quarterback is Todd Leonard, and that's what he will do. He'll take a knee. So it'll be 2nd and 10 as the clock continues to run. AW out of timeouts. So basically, they may have to run 1, possibly 2 more plays, depending on when they put this ball in play. They put it in play with 26 seconds to go. So they can basically let the clock run out. It's a 25-second clock. Stay with us for the postgame show. Tom and I will be down on the field, and we will be introducing you to our Cousional MVP and our Subway sub of the game as the Springfield Blue Devils have pulled the upset, and they will defeat the Anthony Wayne Generals by a final score of 24-19. And the clock goes to 000 to the delight of the Springfield Blue Devil fans. And this one goes into the books as a win for Springfield. They will now move their record to 3-5 overall, 2-3 in the Northern Lakes League, while the Anthony Wayne Generals will fall to 3-2 and even their overall record at 4-4. Looks like the water jug is coming out. Keep the camera right there, guys, because Phil DeMars is about to take a bath. Oh, no, I guess not. Oh, yes, it is. Stay right there. You're going to see it. I hope he's got a towel. Oh, and I'm sure he'll take a shower like that every single night. Great camera work, guys. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll have our post-game festivities. The final again, once again, here on TV5. It was Springfield 24 and Anthony Wayne 19.
Friday Night Football is brought to you by The Andersons, more for your home. Cellular Central, your Verizon Wireless Platinum agent. The Alliance of Construction Professionals, build your future with us. Banner Mattress and Furniture. Subway and your local Subway sandwich shops. Cricket Comfortable Wireless, another leap innovation. Quiznos Restaurants, great dining. TAS Electronics.
Welcome back to Blue Devil Football Stadium. The Springfield Blue Devils have pulled the upset 24-19 over the Anthony Wayne Generals. And welcome back to Springfield High School with Tom Cole. I'm Bill Clark, and we're joined by a very happy, although damp, head coach for the Springfield Blue Devils. Just got himself a Gatorade shower. Phil DeMars, coach, congratulations.
Thank you very much. I'm really happy for the kids. They really played hard.
What a great ball game to start out with. You go down, you get a 29-yard field goal right off the get-go, and then on the next kickoff, Kramer runs it back 82 yards, but your kids didn't quit.
No, when they ran that touchdown back, it really was a test for our kids, I think, and I was really proud of them the way they responded to that.
Congratulations to you, Coach Phil, your kids and your staff. A couple of things. Tell me a little bit about the offensive line and then Marquis. He seems to run with a different gear. He was a fun kid to watch. And the last thing, I thought your defense did a great job on that last stand.
Yeah, I think they did too. Before the game, I really challenged the kids to quit pointing fingers and thinking that they had done their job and that we're only as good as our weakest link up front. And I thought our offensive line really played well tonight. Marquis is Marquis. He's a good athlete and he's a playmaker, but he needs some help. And those kids came together, and I was really proud of them. And defensively, we've been improving, so I was pleased to see us make a good stand at the end there.
Looking at the stats, Coach, for the game coming in, your defensive backs were 1 and 2 and 3 in tackles on your team. Obviously, you're not happy with that, but tonight your defensive line and your linebackers really came to play.
Yeah, I think part of that is with the league, the changing of an offensive philosophy. A lot of people are throwing the ball a lot more now. So I think the DBs are getting a little bit more tackles than we're normally accustomed to. Because our front and inside linebackers have been playing real well.
Let's check out the stats, coaches. They're coming up on the screen there. 284 yards rushing for you guys unofficially, 142 for the Generals. Anything jump out at you besides the final score?
That's all I really care about. I'm just really happy with the kids. I was kind of nasty with them before the game, and I'm just proud of them that the way they responded.
Well, nasty is good. There's nothing wrong with that. Congratulations. You guys moved to 2-3 in the league, and the Anthony Wayne Generals fall to 3-2 as a result of dropping one to the Springfield Blue Devils tonight by a final score of 24-19. Stay with us. We still got to tell you about our Cousineau's MVP and our Subway Impact Player of the game as we continue from Springfield. Once again, our final score tonight, Springfield over Anthony Wayne, 24-19. We'll be right back.
All right.
24-19, that's the final. The Springfield Blue Devils pull the upset. As we told you at the beginning of the ball game, the Northern Lakes League tonight was going to Cedar Point. It's like riding a roller coaster, and tonight was no different, Thomas.
Well, Billy, I think it's one of the best games we've had all year. Both sides of the ball, kids played hard. It was a fun Friday night.
Well, speaking of both sides of the ball, our MVP, our Cousineau's MVP, did just that. Marquis Hayes on the defensive side. Boy, I tell you, he had one of the biggest sticks of the night, as you will end up seeing this coming up on your screen right here from the defensive back position.
Well, Billy, some tackles in the games are attention getters and attitude changers, and Marquis had one there.
On the offensive side, you'll see him come right into your living room right here with a 23-yard touchdown scamper, and boy, he really put a foot to the ground here.
Well, Marquis, we said it all night, Billy, he has a different gear than the other kids on the field. He is fast and faster.
He gets himself a $25 gift certificate from the Cousineau's Restaurants down at the docks in downtown Toledo, and we want to thank Tom Cousineau and all his staff for helping us with our Cousineau's MVP. Now for our Subway Impact Player of the game, Steve Harvey did a nice job as well. Speaking of 23-yard touchdown runs, he had one too.
Yeah, Steve came in and did a great job. They used him to run the dive option, Bill, and he'd come in and fake the dive and keep himself around the corner, which I think we're going to get a look at right now. And a strong, hard run the whole game. Here it comes right now. Steve turns the corner. He's got good speed, good strength, and he did a nice job.
Changes direction right there and goes in for the end zone, into the end zone, we should say, for the touchdown. And he gets himself a foot-long sub from the Subway sandwich shops in Northwest Ohio. So that's what happened here at Springfield. Next week, we're heading over to the University of Toledo Glass Bowl, and what many people are calling could be the biggest game in Northwest Ohio this season, as the battle for the Irish Night is going to be much more than that, as St. Francis takes on the Central Catholic Fighting Irish next Friday night. You'll see it right here on TV5. So that takes care of everything here from Springfield. We want to thank our entire crew. Great job of getting you all the pictures of this big high school battle. We want to thank Tom Cole, my broadcast partner, Tom Fitzgerald, our statistician, and our entire crew. And thank you for joining us as well, and hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast of high school football on TV5. So for our entire crew, I'm Bill Clark, reminding you once again our final score. It was Springfield 24, Anthony Wayne 19. Have a good night, everybody.